Hello, very good evening and welcome along to the live lounge here in Portsmouth. It's the final night of qualification through to tomorrow evening's final, the first final of Series 8 here at the Modus Super Series. The drama continued this afternoon and tonight it feels like we're going to have another crescendo.
Shana's second leg.
Stunning, absolutely stunning for 1-2-1. Magic, absolutely brilliant. Kelling levels it up. We get a Bob Anderson finger point as well from Kelling.
He doesn't mess about.
Tops. Another magic, absolute magic from Dubois.
Indeed, Group B culminates this evening, and we're going to be watching all of the action tonight in the company of the asset Paul Nicholson. And if this evening is anything like this afternoon's action, we're going to be in for quite the dramatic conclusion.
Yeah, we're going to have a late night if it's anything like Group C. And I think what we learned from this afternoon is that any story is possible. I think when you look at someone like Martin Adams with his career, you think that maybe he's destined to get to another Saturday to have a crack at a weekly title, but it's not meant to be for him. And if you keep knocking on the door, your chance may just come. And as far as Stevie Johnston is concerned, he's finally made it through to a Saturday night. But even when he won that match this afternoon against Bradley Roos, he didn't even know it.
He was completely oblivious to it, but we spoke before the session began on Thursday that he's come so close so many times, and I suppose third time is the charm.
Third time is the charm, apparently. He's really looking forward to tomorrow night, and I don't blame him for that. But I think what he'll have learned from this afternoon is that a little bit of minimal information goes a long way. When you've got too much information and too much pressure, you don't tend to perform. And we haven't seen anywhere close to the passionate brand of darts that Stevie brings. But I guarantee you this, come Saturday night, we will.
Well, Stephen Johnson went through. It was actually Bradley Roos that went on to win that group in the end. This is how the tournament bracket breaks down. Them two are going to join Tom Sykes in the final tomorrow. And just a quick word on Bradley, and a real good day for him today. There was one or two question marks that have been labelled at him this week, but it felt like he answered them well today.
Yeah, he said to me this morning that his wrist was feeling as good as it has all week, which was very encouraging for his week. The way he performed yesterday gave him a solid platform to come into Friday to have a chance. But winning his first 4 games today saw him through with a game to spare, and at times he looked excellent.
So we're going to see them in the final tomorrow evening from 7:30. What we're going to focus on here and now is to see the final 3 contenders that are going to make it through to the finals. Justin Smith leads the way following the first night's action in Group B. Now, we were sat up here on Thursday afternoon, and I asked you roughly where you thought Justin Smith was in terms of his career. We saw some real good performances from him there last night. The bearded dragon that we've become so accustomed to seeing on that stage.
Yeah, he was fiery last night. But the word on the grapevine after last night was that he hadn't really touched much in the way of competitive action for a few months. So maybe a little bit of a break away from the game has just stoked up his appetite, and winning his first 3 games and having a chance to win the 4th as well is an encouraging sign ahead of tonight. But if he can start the same way here on Friday like he did on Thursday, he will sail through.
Do you think Chris Gillam responded well from the disappointments of Group A on Wednesday yesterday?
He responded well from the disappointment of Group A and from a somewhat sluggish start in the first night's play as well. I think what we're learning about Chris is that he doesn't panic. He doesn't put too much pressure on himself to get to Saturday, even though he always makes it. He doesn't care about streaks. He just cares about playing the game the way he wants to do it. And so far, so good.
In terms of Andy Hamilton, 4 points to his name after the first night's play. Is it a case of there was pieces, but maybe the jigsaw hasn't fully been put together yet?
I think the first half last night, he can be accused of playing some decent stuff, but his opponents played some better stuff. I mean, let's face it, Jamie Kelling averaged 101 against him. But after that, his response in winning his last 2 matches, that's given him a platform to possibly qualify tonight. Is 8 points going to be enough? I wonder if he's going to need maybe one more win than last night just to book his place there to, concrete that. But maybe 8 will be enough. But we know Andy. He's going to fight and scrape and get to Saturday as best he can.
Well, let's have a look at the table then as we head into night two's proceedings at the Live Lounge. Justin Smith and Chris Gillam both lead the way with 6 points respectively. Andy Hamilton on 4 and nobody out of him. Perhaps the big surprise is to see Jamie Kelling at the bottom of the pile overnight.
Yeah, the best performance yesterday. And I think, speaking to Jamie last night, that first leg that he was involved in with Revelino, where he was on a double after 12 darts and didn't win the leg, something like 2 minutes later, it caused some sort of infection for his night. He responded brilliantly against Andy after that, but it was very up and down. We'll talk about his range of high average to low average. If that's not tighter tonight, he runs a huge risk of not getting the night he wants.
Well, let's have a look then at the odds going into tonight's action. It's actually Chris Gilliland who's top of the pile when it comes to the betting. 6-5 compared to Justin Smith at 5-4. What do you make of those odds, Nico?
I think they're very interesting. They've not really fancied Revelino at any point this week because he's the only debutant, so 33-1 makes sense to me. Andy Hamilton at 9-2, I can get behind that. But Justin Smith, the way he performed last night, and there are a few more gears to go with him. Let's make no bones about that. So I think 5-4 for him is quite inviting.
Well, it is 18 plus. It is begambleaware.org if you can have a flutter on the Super Series this evening. Right, let's get into our first game of the evening session. It sees the hammer, Andy Hamilton, in action. He takes on Revelino Dubois, the Dutch ADC European debutant. And early on this evening, I caught up with the former world finalist to get his assessment of the opening night's play. Andy, very much in the mix after night one. Couple of wins, couple of defeats. What would be your overall assessment of things?
Yeah, I think people played well against me yesterday. I think for me, they played their best game and I just played steady all the time. And for me, they took the opportunities. Mm-hmm. And I fought back well. I think that's what I've done in my whole career. I fight well. I never give in. I still believe in the game. And most of all, I love this game so much.
So do you feel in your mind the levels there, maybe just at points, just need to find that extra 5-10% in those key moments?
Yeah, most times it's all about preparation. Sometimes for me now at my age, the preparations are great going into it, but sometimes it doesn't come out there great. So hopefully today I've prepared the same every time, and hopefully today I'll go out there and play the Andy Hamilton like I can.
Sometimes it helped day two compared to day one because physically your body's been through it one night already, so you kind of become acclimatised to the environment.
Yeah, most I think that's what it's all about. It's all about experience. It's a great thing in life, but sometimes being there and playing where you are is more experience than you need. So today's going to be a better day for me. I know it is. I can feel it in my blood, and I'm out there to have a fight anyway.
I was going to mention going into tonight, do you think more the same in most parts, just maybe one or two key areas just tidy up upon?
Yeah, most definitely. That consistency. Last night I was scoring great darts, but also I was a bit inconsistent as well. That's just down to my focus and concentration. So I just tighten up, which I know where I need to tighten up. So I'll do that tonight. Doubles as well.
Well, I wish you well, Andy. Good luck.
Before we go, one question. I went out for food today, and do you know what? You remind me where I've been today at Wetherspoons.
Cheers, Andy.
No worries, Andy. Cheers, pal. Thank you.
I got no idea what he's on about. I don't know what he's on about. The shirt, Nico, thoughts?
I know exactly what you're talking about, Andy, and you are spot on. What's that? What is that? Anyway, deal or no deal? Let's go to the dartboard, shall we? Let's go and see what it's all about tonight. As Andy is in his traditional purple, taking on someone who looks like he's been sneezed on by something from Ghostbusters. But enough about shirts. Let's talk about darts. And Revelino Dubois, on debut this week, has had a good time of it. The 20-year-old from Purmerend in the Netherlands. He has a chance of qualifying tonight, but he may have to have his best day, Henry.
Yeah, you get the set. See, he was saying to me earlier on this evening that when he played his first game last night, he just felt a little bit nervous, if it was the first time again. But Andy Hamilton is a man that is so adept to pretty much every stage there is in the sport. He's been there, he's done it. He's probably got a quarter-final at least there as well. Has the hammer, an illustrious career. And even at the age of 57, the flame burns very brightly for the man from Stoke-on-Trent. Has made a televised final this year, lost out in the final of the Champion of Champions back in March.
First
Richie
leg,
Howson
it's Revelino
for him.
first.
Talking about the seniors,
Game on.
there's Jack Garwood, who, following tonight's session, will be playing the role as head honcho for the World Seniors floor events on Saturday and Sunday. And what a sterling
96.
job he does there. What a sterling job he does here. But who's going to get the job done here tonight?
Well, Andy wants to have a better start, doesn't he? Started with 2 losses, then 2 victories after. It's debatable
80.
as to whether 50% as a win ratio tonight will be good enough. But I will pay these two players
80.
a bit of credit when it comes to one of Matthew Edgar's favourite statistics, the range. And I'm not talking about lampshades, tea towels and all sort of household goodies. I'm talking about highest average to lowest average and how tight
100.
their consistency is. And I think Andy was really harsh on himself in that interview because his range last night was only 5.8 points.
100.
That's really tight. But if you think that's good, Revelino's range was 1.25. However, that comes with a really big caveat. His highest average was 80.
40.
So he was hovering around that 80 mark all night long. That will not be good enough here. He's going to have to raise that at least 5-6%.
58.
Well, he's supposed to finish in this first leg. Admittedly, a slow start from the pair. Hamilton isn't going to leave a finish after a dozen, and so Dubois is going to have
41.
6 from here to take out
Revelino,
the
you
opening
require
leg. You get the sense that
167.
both Revelino and Jamie this evening are going to have to get off to quick starts if they are to tread water, and if he can win this battle, the
60.
Dutchman, himself and Hamilton, will both be level on 4 points in the group. Smith and Gillam at the top of the pile on 6.
$86.
That's a good switch from
Revelino,
Andy.
you require 107.
Revy looking for his first ton plus out of the night in his first leg of the night.
83.
This is where we'll find out a little
Andy,
bit
you
more about
require
Revy.
154.
We did on Wednesday when he found enough to get through to Group B, but can he find enough to get off the canvas from 4th into the qualifying spots? Can Andy find tops? And on a
Game
day
shot
where
on
we've
the
seen
first
so
leg,
many
Andy
massive
Hamilton.
finishes, we're just going to get more on Friday night by the looks of it. That really was a tremendous start from a day where we've seen
Second
a 170
leg, it's
checkout
Andy
from
to throw
Ruse.
first. Game on.
We've seen 164s twice, and now a 154. What a day of high finishing.
We spoke about off the canvas. Hamilton was on the canvas in this leg. Revelino was returning for free in hand at double 12 with the 154 didn't go. But what a way to kickstart the evening's
51.
proceedings here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth.
Only one thing missing from that. The Andy Hamilton roar.
81.
But maybe he's just conserving energy, which is a very wise move.
I also feel with Andy, those let-outs of emotions are all conducive to the environment that he's in, the type of match that he's in. And I think actually when it's behind closed doors like this environment is, yes, it's a big stage, but because there's nothing
100.
behind him to react to in terms of a crowd, I think sometimes he'll just keep things a bit more in check, where those bits of emotion sometimes come when there's a
100.
bigger crowd, because there's a lot more to feed off.
I'll tell you what he would like. To hit a shot like that about 24 hours from now. Because that would mean he's in the semi-finals.
Well, for everything that happens tonight, the most crucial passage of play
100.
will be the first leg of the evening. Hamilton breaking Dubois. And if he wins this game, will stretch the lead between himself and the Dutchman to 4 points. Remember,
100.
Revelino will just have 6 points left to play for. And Jamie Kelling would then be the next out to bat. And he takes...
90.
Well, make no mistake, an Andy Hamilton win in this game is not good for Jamie Kelling. A lot of us think this is the most exciting group of
50.
the week
Andy
when it comes to
require
Friday night.
160.
Can someone get a 160 this week? Because we've seen so many attempts at it, and the misses at tops.
56.
Well,
Revelino,
Revy's
you
friend
require
Bradley Ruse, who won
170.
Group C, he got a 170 earlier. So over to you, Monsieur Dubois.
Well, the fish isn't going to go from this particular Dutchman, but Hamilton
42.
104 for 2-0. Need to be
Andy
back-to-back
require
top toppers to
104.
kickstart the evening as well for the Hammer. But he's missed the big number. He did the hard work, but then got undone with the single. He is
72.
going to leave himself on
Revelino, you
32,
require
but can
128.
Revelino hoist Hamilton by his own petard of a ton plus finish of his own?
It's a good start.
88.
Didn't have the finishing product.
Andy, you require 32.
Hamilton for 2-0. Now he's got the angle. Oh my. It still could be kind as long as he gets it high enough. Just like
Shot
that.
on his second leg. Andy
That's knowing your
Hamilton.
angles. He's not Alan McManus. He's Andy Hamilton.
Well, we've spoken about it this week, about
Third
players
leg, it's
needing to know
Revelino
how
to
their
throw
darts
first.
behave.
Game on.
And muscle memory is so important to that. And Andy, who's played with pretty much a similar shaped setup for the
108.
duration of his career as Revelino Dubois hits the night's first maximum, knew how the darts behave, but also knew the right angle of attack for that last start of the double. 2-0 he leads in the box seat in this contest.
115.
And if he can stretch his lead in leg difference as well between the top three and the bottom two, albeit with Kelling having a game in hand,
41.
either Revy or Jamie Kelling are going to have a bulldozing second half of the night, or indeed, when it comes to Jamie, an entire night.
93.
It's stacked with strength, and you have to say Dubois is up against it because he's the debutant. He's the one who's expected not to do anything in this group.
100.
There is a severe risk that this is all done by game 5 when Smith takes on Kelling.
On a day like today, it can't be that simple.
43.
We went to the very last leg in Group C. That's roughly 165
100.
legs of darts, and then going down to the very last one.
Well, Dubois has responded well in leg 3. He's left himself on a 2-darter. Hamilton, at the moment, nowhere to be seen, but this could potentially follow a similar pattern of play
58.
to leg
Revelino,
1,
you
although
require
Hamilton hasn't
80.
left himself on an out, and so Revelino's got 6 from this 80 to get his first leg on the board this evening. Tops.
60.
Not just yet. Things have slowed down a bit since that massive 154 checkout in leg 1.
42. Revelino, you require
There's one
20.
thing. If I could take out of Andy's arsenal, it would be that third dart he's just thrown. And now he's got to
No
look at
score.
150.
Andy, you require 150.
Because what he does in that third dart sometimes is he forgets his process and he just thrusts it without aiming. And I think it's become a bad habit.
If that first dart went in, Revelino would have had a sense of here we go again.
17.
But that visit there
Revelino,
for
you
Hamilton has just
require 20.
alleviated the fears for Revelino. But they are going low in that double 10.
10.
Not going in.
Andy, you require 133.
This is the tortoise and the hare right here. Revelino being the hare, he's already at the finish post, but he hasn't crossed it yet. Andy is inching closer, very slowly.
21.
But if Revy's not careful,
Revelino,
he
you
might
require
be pipped to
10.
the post.
Game shot on
The
the
full
third
conviction
leg.
on the double
Revelino,
5, and Dubois is on the board. Back to 2-1 we go, but Hamilton got the important job of getting the break
Full
of foe
flag, it's Andy
in the
to throw
first leg, so he
first.
still has
Game
command
on.
of this particular encounter. Has the darts in leg 4 to establish that 2-leg buffer and then have a couple of cracks winning the match. As I mentioned, win for Hamilton to put him on 6 points.
100.
Chris Gillam can move on to 8 with a win against Jamie Kelling. And then the next one between Hamilton and Smith would be a match to see who will further stretch their position of authority in terms of qualification. Who would be the player that would
41.
be dragged back into proceedings? Justin Smith is in even though he's top of the table overnight, could find himself very quickly embroiled in proceedings, because if he loses to Hamilton in game 3, if Hamilton could win this one, and then lose out to
58.
Jamie Kelling, he could easily be dragged back into the mire. Make no mistake about that.
6 points, you're not safe. 8 points, don't think you're safe. 10 points, you can smile. Should put that on a card of some sort. Because there are rules here at the Modus Super Series. Somewhat moldable rules.
95.
For instance, when you go to a Saturday in your group, if you get 2 points and a difference of a positive nature, you're through. That's a rule.
95.
Subscribe to that, you're going to have some success. But when it comes to this Group B scenario, get to 10 points if you want to be sure.
Yeah, the rules of Group B are if a player has picked up, or every player has picked up a win, mathematically,
95.
10 points be enough. If there is a scenario where a player hasn't picked up a point in the group, there is a 4-way potential tie on 10 points.
140.
That will not happen
Andy
here
require
tonight.
153.
Dubois has left himself on the 90. Hamilton's already taken at the 154 in this game. Is he going to have the 153?
Yeah, but this is harder. You can't get that collision with the second dart in the same treble.
121.
He's done the next
Revelino,
best
you
thing.
require 90.
Straight down the middle, said Frank Sinatra. In the hole.
Game shot
Go
on
and
the
get
fourth
it.
flag.
What a
Revelino
shot
Dubois.
from Revi Dubois. We've been waxing lyrical about Hamilton and the way he started
Fifth
this
flag,
match,
it's
but he's been
Revelino to
reeled
throw
in.
First. Game on.
Well, in football, they talk about a goal hanger. Well, that was a dart hanger there. Just about clinging into the board. But that might be the dart that just
100.
clings on to his hopes.
He's still 6 legs behind Hamilton and 2 points behind. But I assure you of this. The Dutchman winning this contest,
77.
it's really good news for him. It's brilliant for Kelling. It just bunches things up and makes things a little
100.
easier. But Kelling still needs to win against Gillam next. And if he does, we could have 3 players on 4 points and 2 on 6 before Justin
60.
Smith joins us.
This is not the night to be the player who's playing third. It's not the night.
That's what Andy was last night.
85.
He finished proceedings. Tonight, he will be the clubhouse finisher. Regardless of what wins he gets, he'll be in the clubhouse and finished before anybody else.
Question is, will he be
57.
packing his bags or will he be leaving the building with his fate unknown? Who knows? But credit here to Revelino because
58.
he is just itching his way back into this match, just beginning to up the ante a little bit here. Got the break back that he lost in leg 1 and is now looking to put himself in front for the first time in this contest. And he's going to get 6 on the 158 to do exactly
60.
that.
Revelino, you require 158.
Not to be, but it didn't have to be on this occasion. The job is to set up,
98.
and he'll happily leave himself 60 after that turn.
Just how small can this number be? It's not going to be a first 180 of the night for Hamilton.
137.
Yesterday,
Revelino, you require 60.
get this, he had 9. More than 2 a match. Some effort. But he might be behind in his first match of Friday.
40.
But then again, he might not.
Andy, you require 110.
Had a high finish yesterday of 121. What he would give for a second ton plus checkout. Got to go to the 18s.
This could be rinse and repeat of leg 1, where
Game
Revelino
shot
was
on
sat
fifth
on a
leg.
double and
Andy
Hamilton has taken a
Hamilton.
ton plus out to break. And this time, the Hammer has the darts to win the match. A sign of respect
Sick
from the young
flag. It's
Dutchman,
Andy to
but
throw
inside
first.
he'll be hurting.
Game on.
When Hamilton was making that world final in 2012, Revelino was 8. That puts this game into some sort
60.
of perspective, doesn't it? It's a bit like your shirt.
Can we leave the shirt out of it, please?
Nope. At least once a game, that shirt is going to be completely mocked.
125.
Looks like the kind of China pattern you'd get at Tiffany's and you'd reject it.
The worst bit about
40.
it is it's not the worst summer shirt I've got for the Modus Super Series.
Looking forward to it. Bring it on. Bring this on.
140.
Really just thrust those darts through the air with ferocity, doesn't he? He's not left anything behind this week. But what I will say is that Revy seems to have a lot of energy left. He looked a little flat when he played Andy last night. That's why he lost 4-0.
81.
But he's only just playing his first week here and his second evening session. Playing at different times of the day
100.
throughout the week is a difficult discipline. But I think for a first week, he can be very proud of himself. He's not even finished yet.
Who knows? There may be another week at the end of this series
46.
for Revelino.
Revelino, you require 100.
Well, he's got time on his hands in leg 6. Time he's going to need. Can he find a way above? Has to shuffle across. Maybe a little bit of the top left-hand corner to find.
60.
Too awkward.
Well, how many people have won in their debut week? Andy from Scotland did in the last series.
Well, Little, of course, the most famous
96.
debut winner.
Revelino, you require 76.
76 to take us all the way to a last leg decider. 88.
Oh, no.
No score.
Oh, no. I know he's coming back. But if you're going to miss, don't miss low there. Makes the next shot just a bit trickier, and Andy's going to be on your tail.
Well, going back to the debut winners, we went a spell of a couple of series
98.
without a debut win.
Revelino,
And then we
you
had 3
require
on the
76.
spin. Bo Greaves, Darius Labanauskas and Andy Davidson in the last series.
Double 18. Just.
40.
That was a calculated gamble for Revy. But
Andy,
now
you require 80.
he may have run out of house money.
He does like to go below, does Hamilton, for a set-up dart at tops for the match.
40.
He's had a chance.
Revelino, you require 36.
Takes a world-class dart player to do that. It makes a lot of sense. Are we going the distance? We might not be. And Hammer in the background is looking
No
hungry.
score.
2 more
Andy, you
points for
require
him.
40.
It would get him to 6 points and create this chasm between the top 3 and the bottom 2.
Dubois had his chances, but
Good shot.
Hamilton
And the
takes
match,
his, and
Andy
he's going to be the man
Hamilton.
that moves on to 6 points in this group. A 4-point gap now opens up between 3rd, 4th and 5th in the table. Andy Hamilton with a 4-2 victory against Revelino Dubois. That's the tail of the tape from our first contest of the evening. Coming up after the break, we're going to watch Jamie Kelling and Chris Gillam go toe-to-toe.
Hang on a minute. Wow! Oh my God! Well, that's £100 down the drain already. Itching to hit the 180. He's gone for the maximum.
Team for the bull. Bull.
53.
No, he said bull.
That's a great first start from Adam. Oh, look at this. He's going to leave Skate. Oh, can you believe it? That is unbelievable.
Match starts to put his team into the final. And through to the final they go. Charlie Murphy has hit the match-winning dart on both occasions. Double 4 for the title.
Please show your appreciation for the winner of the Influencer Pairs event, George Scaife and Adam Lipscomb.
He seems to be out, that's what he is, Charlie Murphy. A couple more visits yet. We're not going to need that.
Bosh.
Pie Face is through. He gets
And
there
he's
in the end.
absolutely buzzing.
It was a game that Pie Face dominated throughout.
Welcome back to the Modus Super Series, where before the break, Andy Hamilton got the better of Revelino Dubois by 4 legs to 2, including 2 ton-plus finishes en route. It means that the Hammer's on 6 points. And 4 clear of Revelino, 4 clear of Jamie Kelling, although JK can half that particular deficit if he can get the better of Chris Gillam. A win for the Northern Irishman will move him on to 8 points in the group and will put him oh so close towards qualification. As a matter of fact, he'd put himself 6 points clear of both Kelling and Dubois with just 6 points left to play for. But Kelling, a player who we've seen here, well, right from the very beginning in the Southampton studio in 2021. He has developed as a player. Actually said yesterday in an interview with Phil Bars he's going to give Q-School a crack at the beginning of 2025. Up against Chris Gillam, the 41-year-old from Northern Ireland who played at the BDO World Championship last 32. I've actually got a story about Chris Gilliland and Andy Hamilton and the BDO World Championships a little bit later on to bring to you.
What do you mean later?
First leg, it's Jamie.
I want it now.
First. Game
Okay,
on.
you can have it now because you've asked so nicely.
Yeah, I said now, not please.
Well, you said please now, so.
Get on with it.
Well, Chris Gilliland was the player
121.
that beat Martin Adams at the 2019 Lakeside qualifiers that ended Wolfie's 25-year consecutive streak of qualifying for that World Championships. Gilliland would go all the way through to the final qualification
81.
match of that particular tournament before then losing out to Andy Hamilton, who would then make his Lakeside debut that year.
140.
Gilliland, who has played on the Lakeside stage. Jamie hasn't. Looks like he is very much putting his hat in the ADC ring in 2024.
140.
That seems to be the case. I think in this day and age where people have the freedom of playing multiple tours, some people really have
30.
hung their hat on one of them more than anything. You look at Wolfie, for instance, who unfortunately didn't qualify for Saturday this week. He's very much Modus Super Series and Seniors. You got some people who
108.
focus more on PDC Challenge Tour, this place, WDF, ADC. Isn't it nice they've got a choice?
100.
Well,
Pressure
Kelling
require 100.
is thoroughly under pressure at the start of tonight. If he doesn't get a win against Gilly, the best he can do is 8 points, and he will need godlike favours
62.
to get through.
Jamie, you require
Do yourself a favour,
110.
Jamie. Win all 4.
And it could be moments like this which change games. It changed it in the favour of Andy Hamilton
54.
against Revelino Dubois. That 110, 1 or 2 ton plus checkouts for the hammer there. But Gillam looking at double 19, which actually the way his darts laying the board actually isn't the worst double in the world because he can just pinch that on top.
19.
But he just adjusts too far over.
Jamie
And so Kelling is back 56 for the holder throw.
This is a gift, Jamie.
Game shot
And
on
he's
the
unwrapped
first
it.
leg. Jamie Kelling.
That's a better doubling start than last night, isn't it? After leaving himself on a double after 12
Second
darts in
leg,
the
it's
first leg
Christopher
of
first.
Thursday night,
Game on.
it took him an eternity to see the leg at its conclusion. He didn't even win it. Dubois nicked it, and it infected his entire first game of the night.
96.
Consequently, he did have the best performance of the entire evening when he beat Andy Hamilton by 4 legs to 2, averaging nearly
21.
102. But the rest of it, this is my point about Jamie last night, and he totally understands this. His range was monstrous. 101.72 is
60.
high, but his range from top to bottom, 27.67 points. That's way too big.
140.
If he tightens that up to about half of that, somewhere between 10 and 12, he might just have the level of performance to get 4 wins tonight. But he cannot have a range like that.
81.
Jamie's one of those players that's very honest about their praise. Actually, sometimes probably a little bit too honest with himself, if the truth be told. But there's a real
100.
believer band, which I think around about this time last year was not there.
He's taken his time over the last decade to maybe look at darts
94.
and putting him in a more advantageous financial position for him and his family. It might be his time coming up. I had a really honest conversation with him yesterday, and he said to me, and he didn't mean this in a derogatory way to anybody else, and he said, I wish I was a little bit more stupid. Because he thinks sometimes that he thinks about the game too much. And I know exactly what he's talking about.
58.
What they say about
Jamie
ignorance
require
being bliss?
140.
Ask Stevie Johnson about that this afternoon.
What do you give for a treble right now? Finds it to leave himself on tops. Forces the 112 of Gillam to go, with Kelling threatening the break here in leg 2.
The old tops route.
72.
Not this time.
Jamie require 40.
So a break chance for Kelling.
Game shot on the
Seized
second
upon.
leg.
2-0 to
Jamie
JK. He
Kelling.
knew he had to get off to a quick start tonight. He knew that this first game against Chris Gillam was must win.
Third
and he is
leg,
at the
it's Jamie
halfway
to throw
point of
first.
getting those oh so
Game
crucial
on.
2 points. And Gillam, you can see there in the background, is remonstrating to himself.
Could be the same sort of start for Gilly here.
97.
He lost his first match last night to Justin Smith for 2 reasons. One, Justin was amazing. Secondly, Gilly only got 1 dart at a double. That's never going to be enough. However, he did hit it.
100.
Phil Bos and I were talking last night about the first dart of Kelling. If he can get that
60.
right, he can loop those darts through the air and maximise scoring. But too often, he does get that first dart just a little bit too far away. And he searches for a good score.
85.
That is something that comes with putting hard work on the board. And for someone who has a career in finance, has a family, a lot of commitments,
140.
finding the time to do it is hard. Let's be realistic about that. There's only so many hours in the day.
134.
When you've got people in your life and responsibilities, that big word comes into play, doesn't it? Sacrifice. Something's got to be sacrificed so you can do the work.
40.
Kelling has left himself for the finish, but just and the break of throw that he got to go 2-0. May well be cancelled out straight away here by Gillam.
55.
Doesn't
Jamie,
make
you
much
require
hay there.
164.
What can Kelling make of the 164? Nothing with dart 1, and so Gillam's going to come back for 127 to bring this game back to 2-1.
60.
Get that break back.
Chris, you
Return
require
the game to throw.
127.
And just give Kelling a couple of questions of which to answer.
Doesn't find a route to the ball.
87.
Does Jamie find a route to the double that he wants? Let's find out. No such joy.
56. Chris, you require 40.
When he's been sharp this week, he's been excellent on tops.
Double 10. Big
Game shot
dart,
on the
big
third
find.
leg.
Gillam
Chris
gets the break
Gillam.
back. The game returns the throw back to 2-1. And the Northern Irishman now
Fourth leg.
with the
It's Chris to
ascendancy of
throw
throw
first.
to tie this game back
Game
up.
on.
Kelling. Now, he should have made more hay, really, on throw to move 3-0 in front. And it should also be said that in Kelling's scenario, not just wins important, but you just don't know how crucial legs difference is going to be
96.
in his favour as well. Because, say, for example, it's Justin Smith, who's the player that gets dragged into the quagmire, then he's going to have a big
100.
lead over Kelling in that particular leg differentials.
We'll have a much clearer picture by the end of Game 5 when everybody's played 2 more
140.
games. So make sure that you stay with us and see where they are around midnight.
58.
Here's the funny thing about this group. If it starts to work the same way as Group C and the end of Group A this week, we might be none the wiser. Which will make it a very interesting evening going into Saturday morning.
41.
Well, we've got the time. I just want to send congratulations to Christian Kist, who won both
100.
Challenge Tour events today. That's some achievement. Not many people have done that on the same day. In fact, I think it's only 6, possibly 7 people in the history of the Challenge Tour in the last decade.
60.
But he's won today against Mikhail Hunter Buckner in the first one. He beat Big John Henderson in the second one in a fine final. Both averaging over 100.
100.
And I have it on good authority from our
Chris, you
good friend
require
Robert Thornton. That final
164.
was extremely good. He's trying to trim the 64 off there.
83.
He's got more of it.
Jamie, you require 143.
Big ask, but it's on. 51.
87.
Just imagine his mood
Chris,
if
you
he'd hit
require
that.
81.
That would have been a shot of serotonin for the darting soul.
Could just be a dart at the bullseye. It's not going to be anything for Gillam. That is
41.
potentially a seismic error,
Jamie, you require
which has allowed
56.
Kelling in to move himself 3-1 to the good and then have the darts for the match.
Hasn't missed a dart at a double yet.
46.
Oh no.
Chris, you require 40.
He may feel the pain of that one.
2 misses. That could prove oh so costly.
Game
Because
shot on the fourth
Gillam
leg.
delivers
Chris
on
Gillam.
tops. It was there for him where he needed it the most. Level we are at 2 apiece.
Fifth
Big
leg. It's
moments
Jamie
this
to
for
throw
Jamie
first.
Kelling.
Game on.
Do you know who else won a tournament today? Paul Lim. Defended his Ulaanbaatar
60.
title in Mongolia. What a bloke. 70 years of age. And get this, because this is a fabulous story. He's currently in a spot for Lakeside.
40.
Can you imagine that? 34 years after hitting a 9-darter there, he could be going back.
Add to the point, Paul Lim made his World Championship debut in 1982.
60.
Jockey Wilson won the World Championship that year.
In a great shirt. I think it was brown. Everything was brown back then.
As Sid Waddell famously said, they'll be singing, they'll be Highland flinging
80.
when he won that particular title. And I'll tell you what, if Paul Lim does qualify for the Lakeside this year, whichever session he is put in first up, you will not be able to get a ticket for it.
And if he chooses to go, because he might qualify for the other one. So we'll keep you abreast of that story. But again, he might have a choice. The choice here,
140.
he wanted the 180, but he'll have to settle for the 140, which is the 6th 140 plus score of this match. 3 each player.
39.
Well, I don't know whether you saw that, but there was a pained look on the face of Jamie Kelling there. I think he feels this is just beginning to slip from his grasp.
He's got to win the mental battle here. You're not going to get anything from Gillam.
97.
It's like playing a statue. But if you're going to show those little hints of weakness in front of an
68.
opponent like that,
Chris, you require 144.
experienced campaigners will eat you alive.
Has got 6, but may only need the 3. Double 12 for 144. That could be a
Getting
dart
shot on the
breaker for
fifth
Jamie
leg,
Kelling.
Chris Gillam.
Gillam moves 3-2 up from 2-0 down. And Jamie Kelling just shakes his
Sixth
head in the
leg,
background,
it's
wondering
Christopher
what on earth
first.
is happening here.
Game on.
This is what I'm talking about when you've got seasoned campaigners up against you and they're bearing down on you. They're like hunters. They smell blood.
59.
They do not get further away. They get closer.
$39.
Got to maintain composure, belief, and a process. No matter how you're feeling inside, no matter how your blood is boiling, you've got to have something called an
100.
anchor. This is what they call it in sports psychology. An anchor that allows you to reset yourself when the pressure is too much.
57.
It allows you to come back to a certain point that makes you feel more at ease with the situation. Ever noticed how Jason Day, when he was in his previous peak
100.
around 2015, he would close his eyes and think for about 2 or 3 seconds, possibly a few more.
58.
His anchor was some sort of visualization, and boy did it work for the former world number 1. Everybody who is an elite sports person in the world has got something like that.
95.
I think one of the best examples of which is Wyndham Clark going back to golf. Watch that Full Swing documentary and the way that he uses sports psychology and a sports
108.
psychological coach as Kelling hits a max to leave himself on the finish. But this 147's for the match for Chris Gilliland. Well, 147 is going to be added to the 144, and now he
60.
hopes that Kelling hasn't got
Jamie, you require
something big in the locker.
167.
Now, this is a medicine shot. Because Jamie wanted medicine for what's making him sick, and he was trying to feed Chris a dose of his own medicine because he's hit a 167 this week.
87.
But he doesn't need that. Chris just needs 87, which could be a bull at the end. And it will be.
And it's a
Game
ball that's
shot,
found.
and the match,
And Chris
Chris
Gilliland reels
Gilliland.
off 4 legs in a row to get the better of Jamie Kelling by 4 legs to 2. It all started so well for JK. He'd raced into a 2-0 lead, but Chris Gilliland got his claws in the contest just as the misses began to become apparent for Kelling. A 4-2 win for him moves him on to 8 points. It now means that Dubois and Kelling are in serious danger of being cut adrift even at this early stage. A win for Andy Hamilton will move him on to 8 points in the group. In fact, the winner of the next game between Hamilton and Smith will move on to that figure, and we're going to be watching that in a couple of minutes' time.
Welcome to the party in Portsmouth here at the Modus Live Lounge.
They've both got the talent where they can just reel off leg after leg and dish out a heavy defeat. And what a way to start the day. We're up and running here on Champions Week with a maximum
Well, what a way to finish. A 12-dart leg.
Beautiful check out there from Cam Crabtree.
Only needs the one. On the second leg, Darius
What were you saying about efficiency?
On the third leg, Reece
Is that the moment that Reece Robinson comes alive in this crucial clash? Looks like he's going to go for it. And it is right next to his favourite double top. And he gets the job done at the earliest possibility. That is Cam Crabtree through.
Case not so. Harrison gets the all-important win.
Shot on the second leg, Darius Labanowski.
Well, Smith is it a 9? A long time, and that clenched fist. He gets the job done in the end. He's nodding in total agreement because
shot on the fourth leg,
just like that. Only needs the one. There you can see.
That she can unlock at any moment, but that is quality from Harrison. This would be a wake-up.
Welcome to the party in Pompey. Should be a good marker for him, and is. It was a great guide.
Shot on the first leg, Andreas Harrison.
It's a breaker throw for Andreas Harrison.
Shot on the second leg, Cam Crabtree.
Consecutive breaker throw, double 16 is found.
And he does lead. It's not an 11, but it's a beautiful 12, treble 17, which he gets. Bullseye for the win. Absolutely incredible by Andreas Harrison.
He's Andreas Dirty Harrison!
To the Modus Super Series, where it has been a good night for Sweden elsewhere in the world of darts. But here in Portsmouth, we've just seen the Northern Irishman, Chris Gillam, get the better with Jamie Kelling by 4 legs to 2. Kelling getting off to a quick start, racing into a 2-0 lead before Gillam reeled off 4 on the spin. That moves him onto 8 points. And the winner of this contest between Andy Hamilton and Justin Smith will also find themselves on that particular mark. Hamilton already a winner tonight, getting the better with Revelino Dubois by 4 legs to 2. In the session's opening encounter. As for Justin Smith, he's the last player to take to the hockey on this Friday evening. The 26-year-old from Cardigan in Wales, Challenge Tour event winner back in 2022. He also won a week at the Super Series in that year. He is hoping to do something similar here in 2024. And interesting, actually, the fact that Justin Smith playing here this week means that he hasn't played in Leicester at the Challenge Tour. Both players electing to skip this round of events
first leg,
in Leicester. You mentioned about players having choices, but it also leads to players having decisions to make. And for this pair at the midway point of that particular programme of events, they felt that maybe their ranking, maybe their position, they felt this was the better option.
Yeah, those decisions do come around.
25.
You have to do what's best for you. Don't do what's best for anybody else. You have to be selfish.
60.
Let's face it, this is a single sport predominantly. Unless you go to the England Open in Devon, where you play some pairs and some mixed triples and things like that, which is good fun. But this is a singles sport. And you have to do what's right for you. And what's right 59. For your team as well. Which could include some very close family members. But this guy did almost everything right last night.
59.
He was out of the blocks like Johan Blake. And he finished like Usain Bolt. But he just got pipped at the post, didn't he? Because in his final game, he lost to Hamilton by 4 legs to 3. Just stumbling on the doubles a little bit.
140.
Now, if he finds 2 wins tonight, he's going to be fine. But it sounds easier than it is. He averaged better than anybody yesterday. 89.41. his range compared to that of Jamie Kelling was less than half.
81.
Just under 13 points from top average to bottom, that's fairly usable.
100.
But he didn't have the best doubles. He was 39%, which is always very acceptable. But Gillam last night, 13 from 25. My word, that was impressive.
Hamilton's already been impressive this evening. And I just wonder what the dynamic is like when you
85.
have a player who's already been out the bat, has won this inning, up against somebody who goes into it a little bit cold because they've been sitting around watching a couple of matches.
I suppose technically Justin's got Andy's shift from yesterday, hasn't he?
Indeed.
50. Andy, you require 111.
Me personally, I'd rather have the first game. Know exactly when I'm on. 10:05. Some games, you may have to wait a little bit longer.
51.
I'd rather know when my first game is.
Justin, you require 132.
Sometimes you don't have a choice, though.
A little bit like Casper Ruud and Sasha Zverev
60.
early on at Roland Garros.
Andy,
You had to
60.
wait for that 4-hour epic between Sinner and Alcaraz to culminate. Is this first leg going to culminate here? Low to go high. It's just the Hamilton MO. But it's not a
20.
successful MO right there.
Justin, you require 72.
Smith with a break chance. May just be a dart.
Might need to.
66.
I couldn't use them.
Andy, you require 40.
It was a fairly obliterating start on the doubling. Easy for me to say. Against
Game start on the
Revelino
first
Dubois
leg,
earlier.
Andy Hamilton.
It's not a bad start here. Could this be Andy's night, I
Second
wonder?
leg, it's Justin
Could
to
he
throw
steal
first.
this group?
Game on.
After a slow start yesterday, losing his first 2 matches, he's on a 3-win streak
97.
And he is a player, as you mentioned a little bit earlier on, who is having a very, very good 2024. Got through to the second stage of Q School. Lost in a seniors televised final. Hitting maximums for fun.
2.
You know how we were talking at the back end of the last
95.
series with Cam Crabtree, who, funnily enough, had a half-decent day on the Challenge Tour today, by the way. His little rivalry with his friend Owen Bates about weekly titles. I wonder if Andy
60.
has at any point in the last year heard from Colin Osborne, because they're very good friends. And we know Osborne's had success here.
171.
Maybe Colin could motivate Andy even more, saying, I've got weekly titles and you haven't.
Osborne's probably sent it on a postcard from Tenerife or somewhere in sunny Spain.
Won't be surprised.
55. Justin, you
Always seems to have a good tan, and he doesn't get that
138.
in Middlesbrough, I can tell you that. Look at this from Smith. After the maximum style approach, he was going for 5 treble 19s and double 12.
91.
He'll have to settle for 47 after 12, which is still a world-class leg.
Is it fair to say of the 5-player field, Justin Smith is the flair player of the lot?
96.
I think we've got 2 flair
Justin, you
players
require
in this
47.
group, but I think he's got more capabilities than Revelino.
31.
But not on this occasion.
Andy, you require 110.
But Hamilton's already taken this out tonight. Did so to move 3-2 up against Revelino Dubois, but he's not going to repeat the feat on this particular occasion. And so
31.
Justin's already missed 4
Justin,
darts
you
to the
require
double in this
16.
contest. 5th time's the
Game's on the
charm to
second leg.
level this
Justin
contest up
Smith.
at 1 apiece.
Third leg, it's Andy to throw first. Game on.
Half of our Saturday night field are guaranteed. So we are going to have Bradley Roos. We are going to have Tom Sykes. And we are going to have Stevie Johnston. 3 different nations
57.
represented. And if you are coming down tomorrow night, by all means, why don't you get in touch with us and let us know where you're coming from? Are you from the local
60.
area? Are you making a day of it and a night of it? Get in touch with us on our YouTube live chat. Or you can tell us on our social channels. On TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and on X.
93.
Even though Elon Musk this week asked if they should change it back to Twitter. Go figure.
And if you're lucky enough to be here tomorrow night, you might get a signed Weatherspoon shirt.
100.
What are you going to bring them and autograph them?
Neil Warnock-esque.
Well, if you're going to autograph things like that, you might need Banksy for it to make sense.
I'll tell you what, I did watch a bit of tennis this afternoon.
78.
And there was a person in the crowd who brought in all of his like painting stuff, his paintbrush and paint and oils and all the rest of it,
140.
and started painting in the middle of the match. Did some artistry. He was painting the players and the court and stuff.
As if the tennis wasn't entertainment enough. It's a little bit insulting, isn't it? I can't imagine somebody coming to Portsmouth on a Saturday night and bringing a Game Boy.
99.
You don't need stuff like that. You just need to turn up, watch the stage, see the personalities, get involved.
Don't know. The worst I've
57.
seen in this building is somebody play Monopoly Go.
That was just me in the break. Are we going to get a break of throw here, I wonder?
134. Justin, you require 144.
The only way to one might be a 144 checkout. A different way to Gilliland's. And he was in with the first start. But he might be out of the reckoning. Because Hamilton and Smith have done really good jobs on approach. But it's Hamilton who's got 2 darts at 10s potentially.
Feels like a night so far that's quietly about bringing something.
Game shot on the third
And
leg.
Hamilton
Andy
is
Hamilton.
halfway towards bringing 2 wins on 2 to start his campaign. We've had a lot of big
Fourth
outs
leg. It's
threatened.
Justin to throw first.
We've seen a lot
Game
of
on.
big moments threatened. And okay, we've had 3 ton plus checkouts so far. You still feel as if
45.
there's a couple of gears to go as far as this session is concerned.
That's so far so good for Hammer, isn't it? Seems to be picking things off
100.
and giving himself opportunities of winning matches. This is definitely not the same start as last night for Justin when he was playing against Gilliland. After about 10 minutes, he was in dreamland. Never mind Gilliland.
60.
And if he hasn't been playing a great deal of competitive darts recently, playing 2 nights in a row, I know it's a strange thing to say, but he might feel a little bit jaded.
59.
This match is just beginning to reach a stalemate type point. Honestly, this whole session so far has felt like one great big massive Mexican standoff.
125.
Isn't a Mexican standoff 3 people? So that means that Jack, the referee, Andy and Justin are having a standoff because 2 people is an impasse.
I think you're taking this too literally. Literally.
140.
Every day is a school day.
Just speaking figuratively, that's all.
How did I know you were going to bring that up?
Andy, you require 76.
76 for 3-1 then. And it is for a break of throw. Well, what does he want to do? He's not going to go 25. So that's a calculated risk.
36. Justin, you require 156.
Statistics state that that was the right thing to do, and on this occasion, it could well prove to be. That's not in.
80. Andy, you
Hat stand
require
there for
40.
Justin Smith, and a 3-1 lead potentially for Andy. Should be with that guide.
Game shot
And
on
it
the full
goes.
flag. Andy Hamilton.
Everything is coming up, Hammer.
Well, he's putting the hammer down, isn't he? He was on 4 points at the
Fifth
beginning of the
flag,
night,
it's
having
Andy
won
to
his
throw
last
first.
2 matches of
Game
yesterday.
on.
And he is a leg away now from making it 2 wins and 2, and winning 2 of the first 3 games. And from that point onwards, he puts himself in an authoritative position. It then puts
96.
Justin Smith, who was the league leader before a dart was thrown in anger this evening, on the back foot somewhat.
58.
But has he got enough of a buffer before he plays Jamie Kelling in Game 5? Time will tell. But this is definitely not the kind of form that Justin was hoping to
93.
bring here tonight.
$100.
Because there is a feeling here and a potential here that Smith can very quickly get reeled in from a position where he would have been looking forward. He may well just be lurking over his shoulder
100.
somewhat. Hamilton, potentially 6 darts away now from winning this particular contest.
100.
That 180 keeps Justin interested, but doesn't leave him on a finish.
I applaud the enthusiasm of the people in the chat, by the way, and thank you for joining us here this evening. And to everybody
58.
who's subscribed, an extra welcome to them. But we've had a question from Adam Gillian asking, how many British players have won the British Open and how many Dutch players have won the
97.
Dutch Open?
Andy, you require 154.
If I wanted homework, I would have come in early. Seriously. It's a good question, but that takes time to research. If I get the time, I might have an answer for you tomorrow night, so you'll have to tune in then.
96.
But Hamilton
Justin, you
might get a
require
chance to win the
66.
match in his next visit. Double 18. The gate
48.
isn't closed,
Andy, you require
and the door might be
58.
open for Hamilton to get close to the top.
He was lurking over his shoulder at the beginning of the night. But right
Game
now,
shot
he has
and the
finals
match,
night in his
Andy
sights,
Hamilton.
because Andy Hamilton is now just a win away from qualifying through. 2 victories from 2 means that he is on the cusp of qualification. He gets the better of Justin Smith by 4 legs to 1 in the 3rd match of the evening session. A 4-1 success for Hamilton, 4 from 10 on the doubles, 80.87 the average in the end for him. Coming up after the break, we're going to see the return of Chris Gilliland on the stage, up against Revelino Dubois. Welcome back to the Modus Super Series, where before the break, Andy Hamilton got the better of Justin Smith by 4 legs to 1. That moves the Hammer to the top of the table on 8 points, and now just 1 win away from progressing his way through. As a matter of fact, it could all be done in the next couple of games' time before he even throws another dart, because if Chris Gillam gets the better of Revelino, Dubois, and Justin Smith can depose of Jamie Kelling, well, it's all done, because the top 3 would be 6 points clear with just 4 points for everybody left to play for. So last chance saloon for the pair.
At this early stage as well. Revi Dubois has had a great debut week, but it may be coming to a close thanks to this guy who has been steady Eddie all week. Not that he's called Eddie.
First leg, it's
he's called Chris.
First. Game on.
But after a little bit of cramming in the break, I can tell you that the question from our live chat of how many Dutch players have won the Dutch Open is 8.
95.
Quite good over the last few years, actually. I've seen winners of Jarno Bottenberg, Barry van Peer, Jelle Klaassen, Richard Veenstra.
66.
But then there was a drought from 2006. Raymond van Barneveld won it 3 times. And they won it quite a lot in the early days as well, with players like
100.
Henk van Tooy. And other players in the late 70s and 80s, but 8 people from the Netherlands have won the Dutch Open.
Meanwhile, in terms of British players who have won the British Open in the men's competition, 42. As a matter of fact, the only players
139
from outside the UK to have won that particular tournament. Al Hebman represented Jamaica back in 1995 when he beat
81.
Andy Fordham. Roland Shelton.
Chris, you require 167.
Raymond van Barneveld famously beat Peter Manley. As Gilliland looks for the 167. It's not going to go. Other winners includes Brian Sorensen from Denmark.
95.
In fact, he's the last player from apart from Richard Veenstra, who won in 2018, and Wesley Harms won in 2019 that particular tournament. Luke Littler, the defending champion of that time, he's not going to defend it. He beat Peter Jakes 5-2 in the last final.
Double 12 for Gilly.
Game shot on the first leg.
Very good
Chris
start.
Gilliland.
He's the kind of player, in my opinion, who is still looking for that
Second leg,
marquee
it's
title
first. Game
that
on.
can follow him around for the rest of his career. It could well be something that he gets here. Because let's face
81.
facts. There's a lot of discussion at the minute as to who's the best player in Scandinavia, and we all think it's Andreas Harrison because of his series win here, but there are people out there who think it could be Daniel Larsson. It could be Johan Engström, who has had a pretty good night in Copenhagen, hasn't he? Beating Peter Wright. However, I'm going to pipe up for Andreas. So he's got
23.
titles to his name that he can talk to people about. I've won in this country, in this country. Gilliland is still waiting for that marquee title.
59.
Well, look at what something like the British Open did for Rhys Colley. What it did for his career. Gave himself a real springboard of which to move forward with.
68.
So far, he's picking this game apart.
126.
He's doing everything right.
$140.
I think Dubois is starting to realise
136.
that his participation in this week is going to stop tonight.
Gilliland is doing everything that has been required of him so far. This has been a superb
96.
performance. His average at this present moment in time, 106.89. He's left himself tops after 12 to get the break of Revelino, to put himself 2-0 to the good
59.
and to put himself in cruise
Pressure
control
required,
of
40.
proceedings.
I think Revi's on the ropes.
Game shot on the second leg. Chris Gilliland.
Figuratively, but not literally. He looks like a beaten person now, and he has swung all week long as much as he's got. You've got to say that maybe he's running out of energy and belief. He's running out of time, which is maybe the most important thing.
Gillam is just continuing just to go about his business.
You a fan of Austin Powers, by the way, Henry?
I've never watched Austin Powers.
What a shock. Wearing that shirt, you should have. You'd fit right in.
I'm going to take it as a compliment, but I don't think it is.
Well, if you are a fan of Austin Powers, you might have a bit of a clue as to what Chris will have had for dinner tonight.
60.
Gilly baby back ribs. You'll never get it if you've never seen it. There's a character in the movie, which I actually can't say his name on the air, but he sings about chili baby back ribs.
62.
And if Chris is a cook, he'd have gilly baby back ribs. I wonder what they would taste like. You been to Northern Ireland before?
140.
I've been there a couple of times. A couple of fleeting visits. But they are very well noted for their cuisine. Some of the best in Europe.
60.
Very underrated.
I can tell you one thing. If Paul Nicholson is bigging up food, it must be good.
45.
Yeah, they've got some good chefs in Northern Ireland. They know what to do with fish and game and meat. They've got the scenery. They've got the farms. They've got the know-how.
79.
I think it's a country that punches well above its weight when it comes to sport and a lot of other things as well. Look at Rory McIlroy.
$82.
Well, Dubois will leave himself on a 2-darter upon his return to get a break back on Gillam, but the Northern Irishman has got an opportunity here to put a sizable hole in the 187. He leaves himself at least on a 2-darter. Dubois first poke at the 74. Dart at tops.
54.
6 below.
Chris, you require
And if
92.
Gillam takes this 92 out, you feel like this will be a haymaker jab to the Dutchman.
Well, that's 76 left. He's got the option of double-double now. He's going for tops there for a crack at double
52.
18.
Revelino, you require
Either way is
20.
fine. Well, that's the way you do that.
Third leg.
That's a
Revelino,
breakback.
Dubois.
Just keeps himself ticking along and just has a
Fourth
little bit of
leg.
a
It's
word to
Revelino
himself.
throw first.
Gillam, though,
Game
is
on.
just in Zen mode, isn't he? Just at one with himself.
60.
Which sports do you think Northern Ireland are the best at? I mean, which sports would they classify as having their best advocates in world sport? Is darts up there?
55.
With Gurney and Dolan and Mansell and Colin McGarry and Josh Rock and Nathan Rafferty, of course.
It's beginning to get there. I mean, snooker's traditionally been a strong topic of conversation in that part of the world. World champions like Dennis Taylor, most famously. Mark Allen, the world #1 in snooker at this present moment in time. She mentioned golf, a sport in which it's pitching very well in.
85.
Yeah, Rory's had a pretty good career, hasn't he?
Obviously, they play rugby as a combined Ireland.
91.
Incredible place. Full of incredible people. After everything they've been through in the last 100 years.
125. Revelino, you
They
require
made it pretty tough stuff.
170. 78.
Well, this could be changing. And we've got form for this. Tonight we have seen people take 2-0 leads and squander them.
Well, Chris Gillam could be on the reverse
60.
of it because he went 2-0 down
Revelino,
to
you
Jamie
require
Kelling, 1-4-2.
92.
He went 2-0 up in this contest, and Dubois got 6 to square this match up. And he's going to have a dart at double 6. Goes on the inside, so he's going to have to return for double 3. But also alarmingly for Gillam, around about this time of the last leg, he was averaging about 106. Dubois was in the mid-70s. These two are plateauing towards the middle, with Gillam at around 87 and Dubois at around 82.
Revelino, you require 6.
Can he take care of this pesky double? And that second dart really did block it.
Chris,
he
you
didn't
require
move.
36.
I think he was just a little impatient.
Well, all those fears could be alleviated for Gillam if he could pin the double 18. It's a leg that really he shouldn't have won. But it's one that he's got in his leisure. And he knows now he's a leg away, even if it's not mathematically certain. But he'll feel on the inside a leg away
Fifth leg,
from progressing through to tomorrow night's final in a psychological sense.
I completely forgot that Northern Ireland's really good at boxing.
Of course.
By the way. You weren't alive when Barry McGuigan won the world title against Ivan Pedroso back in the 80s.
100.
What a thing that was. Just like that maximum there. That is a bang on the chin shot.
140.
By the way, that was a little bit of homage to Jim Watt. I used to love it when he used to say that. Bang on the chin.
And of course, who can forget Alex Higgins, the great
85.
The Hurricane himself.
What a character.
Apparently, World Snooker
60.
towards the twilight of his career, or I think it was actually in his peak, they'd only let one referee Alex Higgins' matches because there was only one that could keep him under control. And apparently John Parrott played a game against him once at the World Championship.
108.
And he said, "You have an orange juice, Alex?" It definitely wasn't that. This for the match. This to possibly send him through.
131.
This really has been a great performance from Chris.
You require 56.
Doesn't look like he's in the mood to mess around.
Tops. Doesn't go. And Dubois'
Revelino, you
chances
170.
of progressing through may hinge on this big fish, which isn't going to go.
You do get the sense that double 10 might, though.
Chris, you require 20.
Nice guide. Double 5.
10.
Well, that's now 5 for the match that have come and gone for the Northern
106.
Irishman. And Dubois is still sparring in this contest.
The game continues.
Revelino Dubois.
From the bottom of his pocket, he's just found a magic trick. And look at the reaction of Gilly. Oh, that stings a bit, doesn't it?
Game on.
He's spent a lot of time with this young man this week.
58.
He's maybe seen him grow up a little bit over the course of the last 4 days as well. He might have had a hand in giving him some advice throughout the course of the week as well. I wouldn't be surprised.
I think for Revelino,
100.
whatever happens between now and the end of play as to what his fate's going to be, there is so much,
60.
so much about this week which he can take out of it, and he can take out of it in a positive sense. On Monday morning, he was a relative unknown, and I don't mean that in a disrespectful way at all.
46.
But he's come up on this stage, and for 5 days, he has shown us some really good stuff. I hope that he comes out of this really, really proud of his efforts, proud of what he's done,
95.
proud of what he's achieved, and he can look at this whole experience with the glass half full and use it as an energy, as a tool, as a building block to really progress his way forward, because he's a real nice young man as well off the hockey too. Real quiet character, keeps himself to himself, but he's got an infectious
41.
personality. And I think he's somebody that, if he was to qualify again, would be a great addition back at the Live Lounge.
$95.
Going to be another chance for Chris to get this done after missing 5 match starts in the previous leg.
100.
But Revy
Chris, you
just
require
won't give up.
160. Chris, you require 78.
So here we go then. Another chance to win. 78 away. And now it's only 24.
Match start 6.
Game shot.
It's the
and
one
match,
that seals
Chris
the deal
Gillam.
for Chris Gillam. He gets the better of Revelino Dubois by 4 legs to 2. And that now sees him go 8 clear of Dubois. That seals his place through to tomorrow night's final. 10 points is enough for Chris Gillam to progress. A 90.49 average, 3 180s in there, 4 from 11 on the doubles. Gillam is safely through. He beats Revelino Dubois by 4 legs to 2. Justin Smith and Jamie Kelling comes up after this short break. A win for Smith in this particular contest would mean that Kelling and Dubois would not be able to catch third place. It would mean it'd all be said and done. Welcome back to the live lounge here in Portsmouth for the Modus Super Series, where if Justin Smith, as he tries to instruct Jack Garrett as to what to do in terms of refereeing in the game, he's not going to help you out, pal. But if he gets the better of Jamie Kelling here, then it's all said and done, because Gillam, Hamilton and Smith would all progress through to tomorrow night's final here in Portsmouth. JK and Dubois would both depart the scene. And the final 5 games would just be a jostle for position to see who's going to finish where ahead of tomorrow night's final, and to see who's going to finish with the wooden spoon. And nobody likes a wooden spoon, do they?
Speak for yourself, Henry. I've got 2. One's for turmeric and one's for not, because one stains the spoon and one doesn't. But on to darts.
It's Justin to throw first. Game on.
In the figurative sense of the wooden spoon, nobody wants that.
60.
People want to top the group. They want to have the ultimate confidence going into Saturday night. But Jamie Kelling, the best he can do is 8 points.
131.
And let's face it, the only way he's going to get there now is if he beats Justin Smith.
100.
Wins his other 2 games, and Justin has a complete meltdown.
140.
Funny things have happened. Bit like Iceland beating England at Wembley. Oh, that happened tonight. Yeah, that was a good performance from England, wasn't it?
100.
Bookmakers' favourites for the European Championships, everybody.
Yeah, my donkey.
55.
Put it this way, the bookmakers' favourites for the European Championship are going to have Lewis Dunk as their starting centre-back.
Okay, get off your high horse. You and about another 15 million people who have said that today. You might think differently in about 2 weeks when they're playing against Serbia.
90. Justin, you require 61.
Back to this one. And Wales looking to make a statement on double 18.
52.
Hasn't been as polished
Jamie,
at the start tonight, has he?
85.
A little bit like Wales's football team's performance yesterday, creating a plethora of opportunities,
22.
not being able to take them,
Justin, you require 9.
and then getting held 0-0 by Gibraltar. Double 4. Now down for double 2.
5.
Well, that was
Jamie,
Henry
you
Deacon doing
require
his best
63.
Charles Bronson impression. Death Wish. Double 16 for Kelling.
31.
Shaves the wire.
Justin, you require
And the
4.
chances are slipping by, and the opportunities are going to be few.
Can he nudge on top? Oh, no, that's awkward. Has to shuffle across, but can he find a way? That's a superb
shot on
dart.
the first
When you can
leg, Justin
consider
Smith.
the angle and the lie of dart 2, that was superb from Justin Smith.
Second leg. It's
Just to
Jamie
put in
throw
perspective
first.
that
Game on.
result yesterday.
Which one are you talking about?
Gibraltar in Wales.
100.
Gibraltar's starting right back plays for Kings Lynn Town in the Vanarama National League North.
I'd
55.
love to see you have this conversation with Abby Davis. That would end with you on the floor.
26.
Our first start tonight from Justin Smith has just been a little bit
60.
ragged. Those darts aren't going in with the same sort of trajectory and purpose as they did 24 hours ago.
58.
Yesterday he looked irresistible. Tonight, not so much. But as long as he gets the job done, he will have a chance of a second weekly title
60.
in a shade over 23 hours.
$96.
I don't know why, but he just doesn't look as comfortable tonight.
100.
Darts is a fickle beast sometimes. You can feel great and not play well. You can feel awful and play brilliant.
But I think you can say the same about everybody, maybe bar Andy Hamilton so far. Kelling piles in a match, leaving himself on a finish today with this contest up at 1 apiece. And the thing is, for
90.
Jamie, it's not just a
Jamie, you
win, but you get the
require
sense he's going to have to
41.
win by a scoreline. You sense 4-1's a bit of a requirement from here.
Game
Well, that's the
shot on
first step.
Second leg. Jamie Kelling.
Considering where he was at after two
Third
games
leg. It's Justin to throw first.
in this group
Game on.
and where he is now, no wonder he feels a little bit void.
140.
The only person he's beaten in this group was Andy Hamilton with a 101 average. The rest of it has been
100.
like trying to swim in quicksand. I wouldn't advise that, by the way.
41.
I'm not talking from personal experience. It's just from what I've heard.
Yeah, but wouldn't the sand sink to the bottom of the surface in the water?
Overcomplicating it, Henry.
100.
It's not going to be easy, is it?
Would it be impossible, wouldn't it? Because the sand would sink to the bottom.
You must have been a nightmare at school for the teachers.
135.
you tell why I got detentions now?
97.
Moving swiftly on. That's one thing I love about darts.
140.
The scores are not subjective. In an era where even facts are somewhat debatable, darts is the window into common sense. As we look at double 16 and a 2-1 lead for Smith, which is irrefutable.
And now Justin Smith is looking
Four flag. It's Jamie to throw first.
swim towards the finishing line. Maybe raising the sand at the beach very shortly.
You're not going to let this go, are you?
No, I'm not. No, it's Smith looking to relinquish the advantages that he's got. That's his second max of the match. And now looking to threaten the break of throw. And if he does that, Jamie Kelling is in
57.
all sorts of bother.
He's cutting the figure of someone who understandably thinks that maybe he's got too much to do.
57.
And if you look at the table, realistically, I think he might be right.
The molehills become a mountain now for JK.
100.
As the seconds tick by, that's what we've got. Smith, because he's in front in this
60.
game, he's on a provisional 8 points. Dubois and Kelling are on 2 points. As it stands. I think
44.
what it looks like at this stage is that those 3 people are going to be duking it out to see who wins the group, who's the runner-up, and who comes third.
121.
And something is starting to happen for Smith here. Those darts are going in with that extra pep that we saw last night.
100. Justin, you require
This is what we were mentioning
83.
as far as the flair of Justin Smith is concerned. He can go to a slow start, but then work his way into a match. 77 left. Options decided to go treble 19.
43.
Leave himself on
Jamie,
tops
you
if
require
Kelling
100.
cannot find the ton.
That one just dipped a bit.
60. Justin, you require 40.
Justin will be dipping for the line in the match if he finds tops.
Game shot on a 4 flag.
Really good all of a
Smith.
sudden. It's a steady performance. It's not close to
Fifth
what he was
flag,
doing
it's
on the
Justin to
whole
throw
last
first.
night because he's a good 5
Game
points
on.
behind that in this game. All you got to do is win this game as it stands. You don't have to win a different situation than you're currently
134.
in.
Jamie Kelling in the background there cut the figure of a man who feels as if now his race is run.
Well,
60.
considering the success that Jamie's had here, he made a final in the previous series. He has won a weekly title before.
60.
He's had good experiences on Saturday nights. He's at the stage of his career where he wants to kick forward. But if he's not making Saturdays,
140.
that is a test for his resolve. Because he will expect, with his talent and form, to make Saturdays in groups like this.
100.
It just hasn't happened.
And Smith really is closing towards the finishing line. It's a twofold effect. It's then both himself and Andy Hamilton through to tomorrow
85.
evening's final here at the Live Lounge. The first final of a brand new series. And he really has gone through the gears in the last couple of legs.
137.
This has been a tremendous kick towards the line, which is possibly now heading towards its culmination.
There's nothing between them average-wise. But the timing of some of Smith's shots
140.
has
Justin, you
been
require
Swiss
70.
quartz-like. Here he goes. The winning line is in sight.
54.
But that is a dart to
Jamie,
send
you
not just
require
himself, but Andy
76.
Hamilton through, come and gone. Double 10 for
56.
JK doesn't go.
Justin,
A
you
thumbs
require
up. It's not a thumbs
16.
up of approval because he knows that that could be that. because
Game
Justin
shot
Smith is
and the
through,
match.
and he
Justin
takes Andy
Smith.
Hamilton with him. He gets the better of Jamie Kelling by 4 legs to 1. It means that JK and Revelino Dubois have both been eliminated from contention. Justin Smith, Andy Hamilton and Chris Gillam are the 3 qualifiers through Group B, and it's courtesy of that result. Smith a 4-1 victor of an 84.61 average, 4 for 13 on the doubles. The Bearded Dragon is back into the Saturday night fold. Coming up after the break, Andy Hamilton and Chris Gillam.
Every Saturday, we open our doors for our weekly finals night.
For a unique and intimate darts experience.
Meet the Dart Stars and even the team off the telly
Here at our purpose-built venue in Portsmouth.
every single Saturday evening.
Tickets can be booked via this QR code
Or at www.dartshop.tv for a very small booking fee.
Follow us at MSS Darts on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram and TikTok.
For all the latest ticketing news.
All you need to do, log on, book, turn up, and the action gets underway from 7:30 p.m.
So what are you waiting for?
Get your tickets to the darts.
We look forward to welcoming you to the Modus Super Series very soon.
And we're at the halfway point of the evening action here at the Modus Super Series. This is what we've seen so far. 5 games have come and gone, and the 3 players that have made their way through have been confirmed as Justin Smith, Chris Gillam and Andy Hamilton. That courtesy of that 4-1 win there before the break for Justin Smith against Jamie Kelling. Chris Gillam leads the pack, leads the pile on 10 points in the group from Justin Smith and Andy Hamilton. The race now is to see who gets P's 1, 2 and 3. Dubois and Kelling are now playing for the spoils down at the bottom end of the league table. Our 6th game of the night sees Hamilton and Gillam go toe-to-toe, and a win for Chris in this particular contest would put him in an unbelievable position. Put him up to 12 points, and it would mean that glory would be pretty much in his hands from this point onwards.
He has looked about as stressed as someone on a 3-week holiday on a beach over the last couple of days. The only time he squinted was when the sun has shined on his brow a little bit too much. He has serenely made his way through to Saturday. And that's experience for you. You can't buy it, but my word, you can use it. They've both got it. And the top 3 have done their job. They have made sure that the bottom 2 did not win in the first half. And they have now been cast out to sea like it's a Viking funeral.
Game on.
Well, it's a procession of excellence for these two. Hamilton looking to get what will be his first weekly win here at the Live Lounge in Port. He's had a couple of close shaves in the past to glory. In the previous series, he lost out in the semi-finals of week 3, a week that was won in the end by Bradley Roos, the Dutchman, who's going to be back in the final tomorrow night. And was then a runner-up in Series 3, the first week of that to John Worsley. And if I remember rightly, that was a final that went all the way to a deciding leg. There's also another semi-final defeat in there in Series 2, where Justin Smith was the victor of that particular week. So it feels like all of his acquaintances are coming up at once for the hammer.
Play here long enough, and a lot of these stories will intertwine.
97.
Now that we have the 6 for Saturday night, what are you thinking? Who's the favourite? Is it Sykes? I think it might be with the odds compilers.
121.
Is it fair to say nobody's really done anything over the last 2 days to really refute that fact?
I think the qualities that you need on a Saturday
53.
night are explosiveness, determination, and the ability to be good in a knockout situation. And I get the feeling that the form of Ruse is going in the right direction, but is it to the
64.
same degree as Sykes will be at tomorrow? That's debatable. But I do get the feeling that Gilliland might not get the attention he deserves. Let's remember that he's had plenty of stuff in the 90s this week. That might be good enough,
120.
depending on the group dynamic he's got. Big or small, 20? We're going to go big this time.
As he wants to climb the ladder.
100.
But he's not going to reach the summit.
Chris, you require
Gilliland,
122.
who's had a 144 to his name this evening. Looking to add a 122 to the mix.
Sounds like a dance move, doesn't it? And a 1-2-2.
54.
Got the
Andy
moves wrong.
require 20.
Well, you know the dance move for this guy's walk-on song. Just shuffle to the left, shuffle to the right, and you can't touch this. But he can hit
On the
it.
first leg, Andy Hamilton.
1-0 to the hammer.
I wonder if Andy's got some of those trousers.
Second leg, it's
Those
Christopher
big,
first.
shiny, baggy
Game
pants
on.
that MC Hammer made so famous back in the early 90s. I can imagine him in a pair of those.
Do you reckon it'll go with this shirt?
Nothing goes with that shirt
55.
apart from a bin liner.
That was harsh.
Oh, that was a great impression of an owl, Henry. An owl would look even worse in that shirt.
140.
Welcome to Darts After Dark.
I'm going to leave right now because I'm off to cry.
Here's a violin.
100.
You just paraphrased Will Young, haven't you? I think you're going to leave right now.
Didn't he win Pop Idol back in 2002, beat Gareth Gates? Was it Gareth Gates?
Did you just answer your own question again?
Yes, I did, okay.
Do I hate people who do that? Yes, I do.
140.
Was that ironic? Yes.
That's enough of that. Let's get back to this. You know Gilliland can't leave a finish from 3-4-6. But I wonder if tonight could be
140.
Andy's crowning glory. We can't forget that he's on a 4-match winning streak. And if he keeps that going all the way through to the end of Saturday, what could it be? It could be 10 matches. 2 on Thursday, 4 on Friday, 4 on
54.
Saturday. Sounds fairly simple. And when we talk about streaks, they can go very, very long. Daryl Pilgrim has the record here of 17 straight wins. Bo Greaves has won a women's series event this year without dropping a leg. Mikuru Suzuki won the
167.
Ulaanbaatar Women's Open today by dropping 1 leg in the entire tournament. They can happen. So why can't Andy go on a streak and win this week? I don't see any reason why not.
57. Chrissy requires 66.
There's 2 square proceedings up. And so 1 dart at tops. To square this contest up. Level we are, 1-1.
Do you know why we call that a hurdle? That shot that he's just done there.
Third leg, it's Andy to throw first. Game on.
In a game of Harvett, that's called a hurdle because you go from one segment to the next when you hurdle the next door neighbour. So you go from the 14 to the 12, then you hurdle the 5 to the 20s.
93.
And you've always got to go in a certain direction which is predetermined. And ordinarily, when you're doing a hurdle, it's got to be clockwise.
100.
By the way, did we find out who won the British pentathlon yesterday? I know Connor Scott was playing well in it. And he's made his way to the Challenge Tour now.
39.
Well, Bo Greaves has won the women's pentathlon, the 18th edition of that tournament, from Dieter Hedman and Vicky Prum, who came 2nd and 3rd respectively. In terms of the men's
45.
pentathlon,
$45.
let me get back to you on that.
You're going to summon your messenger pigeon, Alan, again.
85.
Well, this game's in the balance, as you can see, 1 leg all. Now, I'm always interested when it comes to players of this generation and what they do from 271.
57.
If you're new school and you're educated and you're savvy, it's 19s first. If you're old school, you go 20s, which we can now confidently say is wrong if your opponent is ahead.
121.
So we'll give Chris the benefit of the doubt here, because with Hamilton in the same vicinity in leg 3, going 20s there, you can't say it's the wrong play. But you've got to get into the habits
require 150.
of trying to leave a finish from 271 with perfect pitch and execution. And these routes have got to be used going forward, otherwise you
56.
could be humbled by someone who is just a bit more savvy on approach and finishing legs off. He's going to get a chance to win this leg against the darts.
134.
But he's going to have to do so on a 2-dart attempt with Hamilton on a double. That leaves 87. The shot's on. Double 18.
Not to be, so Hamilton will come back for tops to move
40.
himself 2-1 to the good. Gillam missing a dart for the break.
Andy hasn't been missing much in this department here tonight.
Leg, Andy Hamilton.
He's having one of those evenings where he genuinely feels very confident that he's going to be close to visit perfect most of the time.
Game on.
4 from 8 in his first game tonight. 4 from 10. And in this one, well, it's just a little bit better. 2 from 3 so far. And his averages haven't been that bad as well. Well, the first one was a bit scruffy. Second one actually was a bit as well. But he is winning the situations. That's all you have to do.
$45.
I would tell you the result for the British pentathlon, but there's not anywhere to find the results for it.
I'll tell you who'll know. Someone in our chat. Over to you, Elaine Kearns. Who won the pentathlon yesterday?
94.
Because obviously there must be somewhere online that has the results, but we can't find them. And we were talking about 13-time champion this week, Martin Adams.
58.
I could tell you that James Beaton and Anthony Allen won the men's pairs.
Oh, congratulations to them. Used to play the England Open in Selsey, didn't they? Just down the road.
That was my first ever darts commentary, England Open at Selsey. However, a bit disappointing in terms of the entries. Maybe the fact that there's a bit other events on this weekend as well doesn't help, but only 94 for the men's event.
140.
Just clash with the challenge tour, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And this. If you're scheduling things these days, you've got to do them wisely because you're up against more than ever. Super Series, WDF,
60.
ADC, Challenge Tour, and you've got to remember that there are other tournaments around the world. There seems to be a WDF ranking event in Hungary every week.
Which is part of the reason why they've given them the World Masters.
Absolutely.
100.
More darts than ever.
152.
Can only be a good thing. But we get you the best players, don't we, here at the Modus Super Series? We get you the fire-breathing dragons. We get you the Gillilands,
80.
the Ginger
And you
Ninjas,
require 158.
the Hammers, the Wolf.
This is the Modus Super Series and not Game of Thrones. Oh, this is a Game of Thrones. And Hamilton could be throwing something seismic in the mix here. But he's missed the treble with Dart 2.
134. Christian
Has
requires
left himself
72.
on double 12 if this doesn't go. For the break, you're throwing a 3-1 lead. Gillam looking to keep himself in the contest. One dart at double top.
52.
Doesn't go. Hamilton
Andy
can put the hammer
require
down.
24. Game shot on
His
the full
doubles are
flag.
so good.
Andy Hamilton.
They're in a great place. And this is his most complete performance of the night.
Fifth flag. It's Andy to throw first.
And he could be 75% of the way into a perfect night if he wins one more leg in this contest.
Interestingly, looking at that event, Neil Duff's going to be the number 1 seed in the men's competition. Moreno Blum, number 2 seed.
60.
I'm getting conflicting reports, but apparently Blum won the pentathlon, but some other people think that it was won by Connor Scott. Well, in typical journalistic fashion, what we're going to do is wait for 2
140.
confirmed reports, and then we'll run with that. By the way, we've just had another message from our good friend Luke Simmons, who has apparently said that the Darts World magazines are on their way to Portsmouth.
Excellent news.
131.
When they arrive, get out the white cotton gloves. I don't want everybody's grubby mitts on them. There'll be some gold in there.
45.
Thank you very much, Luke. That is a very altruistic gesture, sending those on to us. We will take care of them, and we will make some content so you can enjoy us reacting to some of those stories. They will be a fabulous thing for us to have here.
96.
Not sure where you're from, Luke, but if you ever want to come down to Portsmouth and be our guest, it won't be a problem. Or if you want to come down on Saturday night, get yourself a ticket.
140.
Be happy to come and have a chat with you.
I'll tell you what, if you do come down, I will pay for your first drink.
Cheapskate.
That's not an open invitation. I should be hastened to add. I should be careful saying things like that live on air.
134.
That's the QR code you would like to scan. We are going to get rid of that QR code now because Hamilton is looking to scan his way to glory.
60.
Now where does Dart 2 go here?
80.
Double 10 is the destination.
But it's destination unknown for Hamilton.
116.
And Gillam is back at 116 to break back and to bring it back to 3-2. Just keeping Hamilton thinking.
Doesn't look like it's going to happen.
56. And he required 10.
Double 5 for Hammer. And this is for top of the table with one match left against Kelling.
Game
And
shot.
Hamilton gets over the line. He really is making moves, isn't he? He cannot lose at this present moment in time. Can the Hammer 4-1 success against Chris Gillam puts him top of the pile at the expense of the Northern Irishman. At the tail of the tape from that particular contest, we're going to take a break. Justin Smith and Revelino Dubois comes up next. Welcome back to the Modus Super Series, where before the break we saw Andy Hamilton get the better of Chris Gillam by 4-1. Next up for us, we're going to watch Justin Smith and Revelino Dubois go toe-to-toe on the stage. As far as this pair's evening is concerned, well, they're going to be heading in different directions. Justin Smith, a 4-1 win and a 4-1 defeat to his name, whilst Revelino Dubois, a couple of defeats means that his faint chances of making it through to tomorrow evening's final have come and gone. And we do have an answer to the pentathlon question, because we can confirm it was Connor Scott
First leg, it's
that went
Justin
on
to throw
to
first.
win the
Game
British
on.
pentathlon, and then went straight over to the Challenge Tour today. That is a man who just loves his darts, his Connor Scott.
100.
Doesn't he just? Practices more than your average bear. We are past
84.
the midnight hour now in Portsmouth, so we're into Saturday morning darts. So it's finals day.
100.
Albeit with a little bit of sleep in between. And we're not going to be distracted by football on Saturday.
140.
So we can spend the whole day just looking forward to the Week 1 finals in Series 8.
The best bit is the tennis will be done in time as well.
I wonder what Revelino's going to do. Is he going to go home or is he going to stick around and support Bradley?
Justin, you require
I think he might stick around.
I know Michael Burgoyne and his partner are staying here for tomorrow night's finals. I know they've
65.
made those particular set
Revelino,
of
you require
plans.
143.
Burgers all round then.
And of course,
63.
Tom Sykes being at finals night, you know what
Justin,
that
you require
means.
96.
Dad Harry's here. Joseph Smith
60.
isn't going to be as happy as Larry by
Revelino, you
taking out the
require
96.
80.
Revelino Dubois back for the 80 to break the throwing leg one. Tops.
60.
Doesn't go.
Justin, you require
As Justin
36.
Smith loves this part of the board.
He does when he's playing well.
Game shot on the first
He's
leg.
playing pretty well.
Justin Smith.
First blood to the bearded dragon.
Second
You ever been in
leg.
his neck of
It's
the woods?
Revelino to throw
Up near
first.
Lampeter?
Game on.
Go up towards Cardiff and then you go up north and a little bit west towards Aberystwyth.
41.
I've been around those parts once or twice.
Beautiful part of Wales.
Wales is just beautiful altogether. Wonderful country.
83.
Wonderful people as well. You see the full 180 I've done after earlier.
121. $83.
Now, I accused Justin earlier of looking a little flat. He seems to have found a second wind just at the right time.
60.
That win over Kelling with a couple of maxes in there and some tidy stuff. That's got him through with time to spare.
97.
Get another win here and he will join the party on 10 points. I'm starting to get Group C
31.
vibes here. Although we're not going to have the stress of 3 becoming 2. It's about who finishes where.
140.
Well, Smith is just in cruise control of proceedings right here, right now.
47. Justin, you require
It's getting
98.
better as well as the night goes along, is Justin Smith. The trajectory is heading upwards at the right time, which would be good
58.
news for the Welshman.
I'll tell you what does excite me. The prospect of Justin Smith against Tom Sykes.
140.
That's my kind
Justin,
of
you
game.
require 40.
Double 10.
Game shot on
It
a
doesn't
second
give
leg.
Revy a look.
Justin Smith.
Now, nice sign of
Third
respect there
leg.
for
It's Justin to throw
Revelino,
first.
who from this point onwards is just looking
Game
to
on.
enjoy the experience that he's got here at the Live Lounge for as much longer as he's got between these four walls. He's got one more game to go after this one, but Justin Smith is just
140.
in the mood right now.
Well, if I may, how about this? The first time Jimmy Van Schie came here as an ADC
96.
qualifier, he did not make Saturday. If Revy can get back here with experience in the bank,
140.
would there be anything stopping him from getting Saturday at his second attempt? It would take a brave person to say no.
100.
But this week surely has given him the motivation to kick on,
57.
because he has done some great things here this week. Maybe nothing better than something he did against Chris Gilliland
84.
yesterday
Justin,
where
you
he went
require
177,
164.
137 with 2 double tops in a row. What are you up to, Justin?
139.
Almost joined the 164 group.
You just get the sense he's one of those players. If he could just go back, just harness on a few
60.
things with this experience
Justin, you
added to the
require
bank.
25.
There is a player on his hands. Remember, he's only played for a couple of years. Everything's a bonus.
No score.
But that's a disaster
Revelino, you
dart for
require
Justin.
161.
But Revelino isn't going to be the Supremo of the 161.
82. Justin, you require
Made him sound like a
25.
magician there. Revelino the Supremo. But his opponent is making the leg disappear.
Shot on the third leg.
He's pulling rabbits out the hats. 3-0 to the goods. And we've not
Fourth
even
leg, it's Revelino
sniffed
to
anywhere
throw
near a
first.
4-0 tonight.
Game on.
It's been very competitive. But you can sense from afar
100.
that the intensity has been lost by Dubois and by Kelling, who has 2 of the last 3 games to play.
140.
I'm sure tonight is going to knock the stuffing out of Revelino and from Jamie, but they have time to recover. It's only the middle of the season.
140.
Plenty of time to get ready for the next challenge.
100.
Do you get the feeling that when Justin speeds up, he gets better? I think there's a perfect
41.
pace for him. I think he might be trying to find out what it is himself. He's definitely faster. And better.
180.
He's one of those players that plays at his best when he just lets the darts flow, and boy, are they flowing right here, right now.
140.
He's a bit like John Daly.
Justin, you require 81.
Grip it and rip it.
51 left. And it's double 16, the double of choice.
49.
That's
Revelino,
a match
you
dart
require
missed.
80.
Could be academic, could not be. 25 a ball. The bullseye, that's a nice guide. But he can't use it.
41. Justin, you require 32.
This has been a quick match. Could be over.
$24.
Not just yet.
Revelino, you require 39.
And Dubois is still ticking along in this contest. And it's going to have to be double 11 here.
That's one way to do it. All those odd numbers at the bottom of the board. And he's
Okay,
found
shot on the
himself
fourth
a
flag,
somewhat
Revelino
odd 39
Dubois.
checkout.
Well, if there's an insurance policy here for Justin
Fifth
Smith,
flag,
it's
it's
the
Justin to throw
fact
first.
that he will throw for the
Game
match
on.
right here, right now. And remember, a win for Smith would put him onto 10 points. I mean, the top 3 would all be
134.
on 10 points. And then it's going to be Battle Royale from here on in.
60.
Just to address the question in the live chat to Elaine Kearns. Thank you for your answers, by the way, Elaine, in relation to the pentathlon.
60.
Yes, I have been in Scotland recently because I was there last weekend. I was there last Friday night.
100.
Asleep at this time and awake in about 4 hours getting ready to go to Glencoe to climb some Munros. So, sorry I couldn't catch up with you when I was there.
59.
But if I'm up in Scotland, I'll let you know. When he gets his body position right and his rhythm, there is so much to admire. It's there, isn't it?
140.
You can see it.
Revelino, you require 161.
He's raw, he's talented. He just needs to polish things up. It's definitely
94.
there.
Justin, you require 108.
But the win could be here and now for Justin Smith. One dart in his hand, a
Shot.
double
And the
16 to
match,
finish it off for a
Justin
108 checkout. And the Bearded Dragon demolishes Dubois. He beats it by 4 legs to 1 to move him on to 10 points. It means that the top 3 are all tied now on points at the top of the table. For Dubois, much improved performance. And do you know what? A real nice sign of respect. Actually, as we cut to the averages at the end of the game, a hug and an embrace from the pair. A lot of respect for the two. That, how the game panned out from a statistical viewpoint. Coming up after the break, we're going to be watching Jamie Kelling and Andy Hamilton in action. Welcome back to the Modus Super Series, where we know all the finalists for week 1 at the Live Lounge. But what about week 2 here in Portsmouth? This is the list of players that we are going to see. We're going to see a player who played at the last Champions Week in Kieran Tierney. We've got a couple of Canadian stars in Jess Smith and Jim Long in action. Marina Michels, of course, Series 5 runner-up. Group B, Adam Lipscomb, Chris Contock and Justin Hood. Very strong lineup that. Group C sees Peter Hudson, Nick Forwell and Shane Hayward go toe-to-toe. That starts Monday morning, 9:30 on the Super Series YouTube channel. However, we've still got 3 more games to go on this Friday night at the Live Lounge, and it sees Andy Hamilton and Jamie Kelling go toe-to-toe on the Oki. Hamilton, top of the table, top of the pile. He was the player that some thought maybe was in most danger because of his point situation going into this evening. Well, he's made absolutely no mistake so far, has he? And if he can win this particular fixture, he would have completed the card on night 2.
Game on.
It's always the goal to win all 4 games. And just imagine his confidence going into Saturday if he beats Jamie here against the darts. It will be a 6-game streak he's on of winning. And then people will start to think that it might be Andy's week. But what we'll do
30.
at the start of tomorrow's program, or should I say tonight's program, I always do that every single week. From 7:30, we'll talk about the numbers, the likelihoods, the behaviours and the patterns. We will analyse every single metric that is valuable in going into a Saturday night to see whether Andy Hamilton does have that chance of that first weekly title. The trends are what we look at. How high is your best average? How high is your best finish? What is your average for the week? What are your daily averages? What are the keys to success? And I think one of his biggest keys to success over the last couple of days is that his range has been good. He hasn't been terrible when he's played his worst game.
60.
He has not been playing to the level of Tom Sykes, but he's always been at that range of playing well enough to get chances.
57.
And I can't say enough about his doubles tonight.
Well, it's been a slow start to this particular encounter. Kelling racing away with leg 1. This will be a bit of a disappointment for JK, not qualifying through. He's a very good record in qualifying through the Saturdays in the past as Hamilton hits the max. It's still not enough to leave himself on a finish. Still gives Jamie 6 on the 164 to take out leg 1, but now under a lot more pressure than there was before.
100.
That's only his second 180 of the night, compared to 9 from yesterday. So he's needed a lot less 180s for a lot more success. Go figure.
It's not really been a night blighted with a lot of 180s, really, apart from a couple of games in the middle portion of the session. It's kind of been the odd max here and there.
64.
2 8s.
48.
That has been a problem the last couple of days.
40.
When he's missed, his opponents have made him pay for them.
Hamilton was nowhere, but it could be everywhere now. Double 10 is found, and remember, he was way behind in that leg. That maximum just piled the pressure on Kelling, and it was a pressure that told. 1-0 to the Hammer.
Second leg, it's Andy to throw first. Game on.
Well, whilst we know who's going through and we have a little bit of time on our hands, I want to address a question that we had in our live chat earlier. Somebody asked, who do we think is 96. The best player in Asia right now? Well, let's start with 43. The easier one of the two, shall we? Because the best player in the female side of the sport is Mikuru Suzuki.
Undisputedly.
As for the other side...
97.
At the minute? Alexis Toilo?
He's top of the Asian Tour.
Yeah, I like what he's doing at the minute. I don't know a great deal about his game. I'm just looking at his results, but he looks looks really good.
When you look at the top of the Asian tournament, it's a domination for the Philippines. Palon Abreda, second in that order of merit. Renedo Rivera,
58.
fourth. Lawrence Alagan, sixth.
Begs the question, doesn't it? Why
100.
isn't there a World Series event in the Philippines? Or in that region? I, for the life of me, haven't got a clue why not. And this has not been happening overnight. This has been going on for years. We have a
30.
great Asian tour. Why we don't have a World Series event off the back of the Asian Championship, I've got no clue.
Well, it wouldn't surprise me if it happens in the near future, an event in the
134.
Philippines, because if you look at what's happening in 9-ball pool right now, they've just began a F. and Reyes Cup, which is going to be an event that takes place in Manila, in the Philippines. And actually, if you look at the arena that they're holding that in, it wouldn't look out of place for somewhere that would hold darts.
82.
You could possibly
Jamie require 84.
do some shuffling around of the events as Kelling looks for the 84. Is it going to go? And so Hamilton looking for the 138.
44. And
Made
you require
famous
138.
courtesy of a shot to win a big championship. Luke Humphreys at the World Grand Prix back in October.
You tease.
98.
Someone's going to get you back for that, you know.
40.
Toss to JK. That's a lovely guide. He can just sneak that underneath.
Game shot on a
Indeed he
second
does.
leg. Jamie
Kelling breaks
Kelling.
back. It's 1-1. But just going back to the point of the Philippines, you could actually possibly... You have the
Third
event in
leg, it's
Bahrain,
Jamie
of
to
course,
throw
don't you? Which is
first.
becoming the
Game
curtain
on.
raiser to the season. You could probably do some jiggery pokery of the calendar, possibly move the Dutch
57.
PDC World Series event maybe to another point in the year. And possibly on the back of having Bahrain, you could have an event in that region. It's not too far away, Bahrain to the Philippines. It would be attainable for the players.
96.
It's not too far away. It's halfway around the planet. It's about a 10-hour flight. You were too busy doing politics instead of geography, right?
Yes.
140.
I do see your point, though, because as far as I'm concerned, and I've written about this year, scrap the Netherlands. Why are you trying to grow darts in a country that's about the size of a 10-pence piece? And it's already full of
30.
brilliant dart players. They're doing wonderful work already. You don't have to grow it there. It's already developed. Go somewhere else. And that somewhere else is Southeast Asia.
100.
Everybody knows it. So, without sounding too forceful, just do it. I know money talks, and Bahrain, it's a good idea because it is a darting nation, believe it or not.
You spent some time over there, didn't you?
Yeah,
before
my
COVID?
good friend Arif's from there, and he does some good work. Has done for many, many years.
60.
It does have a place in Bahrain, but I think we need to go where we're seeing strength and evolution. And the Philippines, Southeast Asia, it is it. You then draw in Japan, you draw in other nations like India.
123.
It would work.
Jamie require 144.
Kelling's not going to take out the 144 right here, right now. Hamilton's already had a
32.
couple of tug toppers. He
Andy
had them
require
both in his
112.
4-2 win against Revelino Dubois. Both players left on 112. Hamilton with first poke. And most likely first poke at a double. Tops.
Picture perfect so far.
Game shot on a third leg. Andy Hamilton.
Somebody get the textbook out, because that's what you've just seen.
Fourth leg. It's Andy to throw first.
Seriously, that should be put
Game
on a
on.
poster, that shot. Top off of the 60, right in the middle of the single. Heart of the double. Somebody is starting to do bits. This is exciting.
140.
He looks like he's got very bright eyes at the minute, Hamilton. He's enjoying his playing. There's not a great deal of frustration going on.
140.
I think losing a bit of timber definitely suits him. He might have a bit more energy. He looks like he could go all night long.
To quote Jake Kenyon, who presents our influencer
58.
events, Hamilton is beginning to kook. That's the worst Mancunian accent you'll ever hear.
Yep, it is.
60.
You can handle the backlash. I'll be up the door. One of these days you'll listen to me and you'll understand that accents aren't your strong suit. Your strong suit
95.
is your memory. Because you do remember a lot of good stuff. Particularly to do with the Modus Super Series and football from
58.
the 25th level of the pyramid. Manchester United fan, isn't he? Andy Hamilton. Big fan. Got to meet Alex Ferguson when he was in the Premier League.
100.
I'm sure that was a big day for him.
Jamie Kenning's also a big United fan.
That's true. He is quite outspoken on social media.
140.
And I have.
And you require 108.
Let's save this for the next leg. Because if we get word to these guys, I think they might be on the phone to me sometime tomorrow.
68. Jamie require 103.
Can Jamie draw level with 103? First ingredient. Second. Finished dish.
Game shot on a 4 flag. Jamie Kelling.
Beautiful. Now, here's what I was going to say. Got two Man United fans on the
5th flag.
stage.
It's Jamie to throw
And
first.
I am a Newcastle United fan, as
Game
people
on.
know. But I have in my possession, and this is true, quite the array
84.
of Manchester United old programmes, including a couple of absolute belters. The 1999 Champions League final. And if you think that's good,
46.
I'm not really bothered about it, quite frankly. But if it finds the right home, I might sell it. But I actually have the 1968 one as well.
96.
In very good nick. And I've got some other good ones as well from FA Cup finals, Charity Shields, when it was called that.
39.
Eventually they will go to a Manchester United fan. But I'm just holding on to them for now.
Yeah, it's no longer called the Charity Shield because I think the last ever Charity Shield was in 1992. And that was because
60.
the Charity Commission basically told the FA, well, you can't call it the Charity Shield because you only give to one charity at a time. So you're going to have to call it something else, which is why it's called the Community Shield. Effectively, they nearly got sued for saying the word charity.
66.
In matter of fact, the last ever Charity Shield was in 1992. Leeds United beat Liverpool 4-3. Eric Cantona scored a hat-trick. In matter of fact,
55.
it's the last ever goal that Leeds United have scored at Wembley Stadium. It's the last time Leeds United have won at Wembley Stadium. They lost the 2008 League One playoff final to Doncaster Rovers by a goal to nil. And, of course, lost to Southampton in this year's playoff final.
90.
You did say about memory.
I'm just waiting for you to breathe out. That was a lot of
58.
information to get in one commentary box about something that isn't darts related. But if all of that checks out, I'll give you an A-.
On a plate?
You're a hard sell, Deacon.
140.
You're a hard sell.
Jamie require 140.
Come on, Jamie. Let's have a 148.
100.
Well, if he hit that,
Andy require
that would have been the equivalent of
120.
Lee Martin scoring an FA Cup winning goal. Remember that one? From the early 90s? Whatever happened to Lee Martin?
28.
And
Jamie
just
require
for somebody in our
48.
chat, I am not a closet Manchester United fan at all. This guy
Game shot on a 5th
is a
flag.
vociferous
Jamie
Man
Kelling.
United fan, and he might be upsetting the apple cart here because Andy, looking for a perfect night, might not
6th
get it.
flag. It's Andy to throw first.
He may have found
Game on.
his kryptonite here this week. in Jamie Kelling, because if he loses to him twice, it won't make him happy, but what will is that Jamie's not going to Saturday, so he doesn't have to worry about him anymore.
100.
But that is an act of defiance from the hammer.
Have you got any decent sports memorabilia, Henry?
48.
Haventon Waterlooville doesn't count.
I do have a shirt from their winning campaign.
I think it doesn't count. Something good.
95.
I've got a really good darts one. The 1993 Samson Classic, which was at Time T Studios, one of the first ever WDC events. I have the original program, an original VIP pass, and a photograph of all of the players, all autographed. And not all of them are still with us. That is quite rare.
92. 100.
Looks like we're going the distance.
134.
This is where you want 94, leave tops, move on. You might even get better. That's not the worst thing to happen.
102.
Figures it out. And 32 will be his target after 12. A very good leg from Andy.
Suddenly, the ante's just gone up for Andy.
Andy require 32.
And it could be Hill if he finds the 32. Hill it is. We go all the way to leg 7 in this contest.
So you haven't got any memorabilia then?
I'm not really that kind of guy.
Final leg. It's Jamie to throw first.
I've got bits and bobs. I've got a Luton Town home dressing room, the home dressing room sign in my bedroom.
60.
Why?
Because I have. For the same reason I've got signed photographs and signed things.
97.
But Luton Town? What are you, Mick Harford's biggest fan? So random.
140.
Incidentally, whilst we're here, we're all friends, and it's late at night, we're talking about football. I've got a quiz question for you, yourself, Nico, and I've got a quiz question for all of you watching.
You might have to give us the answer in the next match, because this one's nearly finished.
Indeed. Sunderland did it in 79. Villa did it in 81. Who did it in 80?
$60.
The silence is the perplexed look on Paul Nicholson's face, but there's not a perplexed look on the face of Jamie Kelling as he's looking to complete the contest here and to at least finish with a win.
I'm trying to think of big things that happened in 1980. I think the biggest thing was John Lennon's assassination. But that's not going to be the answer.
I can confirm it's not.
Oh, look at this, though. Brilliant.
108.
It's in there somewhere. It just hasn't come out this week on a regular basis. But he might just scupper Andy's perfect evening. And considering the fact he had his best performance on Thursday night against Hamilton, he might be about to have his best performance against him again.
To at least finish on a high. Double 18. Now double 9. To do the double over the hammer.
43.
But the job's not done.
Andy requires
and Hamilton's going to get his
94.
chance to win the match and to complete the card.
There's the 4. And he went the hardest route
54.
to try and take the card.
Jamie require 18.
But now he might be sent off into Saturday.
Game shot.
Because
and
Jamie
match.
Kelling wins
Jamie
a
Kelling.
4-3 success for JK. And he does the double over Andy Hamilton. A nice embrace from the pair there at the end of that particular contest. Kelling winning 4-3 against the hammer in that particular duel. That's the tail of the tape. 2 ton plus finishes, one apiece in that affair. Kelling the winner. We've got 2 more games to go on this Friday night. Chris Gillam and Justin Smith comes up after the break, and the winner of that particular contest will top the group.
Hang on a minute.
Wow! Oh my God! Well, that's £100 down the drain already.
Itching to hit the 180.
He's gone for the maximum.
18 for the bull. Bull.
53.
No, he said bull. That's a great first start from Adam. Oh, look at this. He's going to leave Scape.
Oh, can you believe it? That is unbelievable. Get match starts to put his team into the final. And through to the final they go. Charlie Murphy has hit the match-winning dart on both occasions. Double 4 for the title.
Please show your appreciation for the winner of the Influencer Pairs event, George Scaife and Adam Lipscomb.
He seems to be out. That's what he is, Charlie Murphy. A couple more visits yet. We're not going to need that.
Bosh.
Pie Face is through. He gets
And he's absolutely buzzing.
It was a game that Pie Face dominated throughout.
Welcome back to the Modus Super Series. Before the break, Jamie Kelling got the better of Andy Hamilton by 4 legs to 3. That means that he is guaranteed P2 this game between Chris Gillam and Justin Smith. We'll see who wins Group B. The loser will finish in position number 3 ahead of tomorrow night's final. Well, Justin Smith began tonight top of the table, wins this one, he'll end top of the pile. Chris Gillam has had a good week, and he could end it by being top of Group B, and his record in terms of getting through to Saturday nights is quite good. He's done that. When it comes to Saturdays, he tends to make semi-finals as well. Justin Smith, also a former weekly winner himself. So these are 2 players with pedigree going toe-to-toe.
Well, if we do look at who's through, Tom Sykes, been there before.
58.
Bradley Roos, been there before. Both of those guys have won before.
140.
Justin Smith, been there before, won before. My word, Stevie Johnston might be up against it. Because everybody else has been there loads of times before. It's going to be a really interesting spectacle. It's going to take a bit of time to add up the amount of
81.
Saturdays that people have reached from the 6 players. But we do know that Stevie Johnston is going to be on a bit of a free roll, you could say. Because the pressure will be on the people who have done it before
95.
And people who have been to Saturday before. It's up to the fans who turn up to make the atmosphere as good as it could possibly be. And
100.
I really hope it is going to be a good one.
Well, in terms of appearances here, Justin Smith making it through to a 6th final in 7. Chris Gillam a 4th in 5. Bradley Rue is exactly the same. Tom Sykes 3 from 4. Hamilton 6 from 9.
That's a lot of Saturday experience compared to Stevie.
59.
But from what he was saying this afternoon, I think he might go nuclear. He's ready to bring the heat and the volume.
So what they did to G. Van Schie a few weeks ago.
41. Justin, you require 121.
For first blood and the battle for the top.
89.
As he would say, that'll
Chris,
do,
you
boy.
require 167.
What can Gilliland do with the 167? Not pin. And so Smith is back for the break. He needs to find one at some point in this
95.
particular contest.
Justin, you require 32.
Can he find it here?
Game
Yes,
shot
he
on
can.
the first leg.
1-0.
Justin Smith.
Well, have you come any closer to
Second
finding out
leg. It's
or
Justin
thinking
to
of the
throw
answer
first.
to my
Game
little
on.
teaser question?
Repeat the question, please, for everybody who might just be tuning in now.
Sunderland did it
100.
in 89. Villa did it in
You said 79.
79. Yeah, Sunderland in 79. Villa in 81. Who did it in 80?
121.
It's not the FA Cup because
100.
Sunderland didn't win it in 79. It was Arsenal, right?
Yes.
Aston Villa were really good around then. Didn't they win the European Championship in 82?
Won the European Cup in 1982,
100.
correct.
So what did they do in 81?
But they would have won the First Division.
I could be here all night. Tell me.
100.
Well,
Here we go. Henry Deacon monologue on its way. Strap in, everybody. It's going to take until the end of leg 5.
You were actually quite warm with the FA Cup. Because in 1979, Alan
140.
Sunderland scored the winning goal for Arsenal in a 3-2 win against Manchester United. And in 1981, in the
59.
replay,
Ricky Villa.
Chris, you
scored the
require
winning goal for
140.
Tottenham against Manchester City.
That's such a trick question.
And so in 1980, West Ham United beat Arsenal by a goal to 0, courtesy of a goal by Sir Trevor Brooking in the 13th minute.
82.
I'm going to ask you another question in the
Justin,
next
you
leg.
require 142.
He's not going to take the 1-4-2. He got the second part of the combination. However, he didn't get the first one.
77. Chris, you require 58.
Double top for Chris to draw level.
Game shot on the second leg.
Fuss free
Chris Gilliland.
for the man who plays fuss-free stuff. Here's one for
Third
everybody out
leg,
there,
it's
and for you,
Christopher
Henry.
First.
How many Johns
Game
do you
on.
know that have won a world title in darts?
Does the World Seniors Championship count?
Nope.
55.
So
I'm going BD or PDC.
I've got 4.
57.
Name them.
John Thomas Wilson,
Yep.
John Boy Walton,
Yep.
John Part,
Yep.
John Lowe.
Well done.
Now, I do have one more. I did
100.
tell you I had one more question. Right, it involves that 1980 FA Cup final between West Ham and Arsenal. What was significant about that West Ham United victory, which has never been done since in an FA Cup final? Or in an FA Cup since?
Not a clue.
I'll give our friends who are watching that may want to answer the question
45.
another leg to find out. Actually, there's 2 things symbolic about this final.
How have you not got a YouTube channel about this stuff?
140.
I don't know, because nobody would probably be interested in it.
Oh, all right then. Don't do it.
58.
I'll make a deal with you.
Justin, you require
If Justin Smith hits this 1-2-4, you're going to have to do it. You're under pressure now. He's going to hit it.
Game shot on the
There you
third
go,
leg.
Henry. He's just giving you the green light for your own YouTube channel on pointless football facts. And there you go, Justin Smith 2-1 up with a wonderful 1-2-4 out.
First.
The
Game
sexy way.
Rue Tullet said that on the BBC at Euro 96. It was the first time somebody on British television said the word sexy
58.
football. Caught Des Lynam by quite some surprise.
Lives just down the road, does our Des. Lives in Little Hampton, doesn't he?
Well, just to finish off question time
59.
in the commentary box. What was symbolic about that West Ham United win that's never happened since?
Well, West Ham haven't won the FA Cup since.
140.
Well, there is that. But they're the last side from outside the top division to win the FA Cup.
$60.
You feeling smug enough?
A bit.
$58.
Well, as soon as you're feeling smug, who's going to win this week then?
You're going to tell me to put my nails to the mast and go for it and say an actual sentence and not drivel on?
I'd like you to answer the question,
140.
but I know how difficult that is for you. So let's move on.
Tom Sykes. Well, you asked me for an answer.
59.
I did. And we got one. I think these two might have something to say about that, you know. The players that are in Saturday night have all got different qualities. Different levels that they have attained in matches here this
58.
week and previously. It's all a question on Saturday whether it comes out.
60.
When these guys played yesterday, this was the game where Justin Smith started going bananas at the start. And we thought we were going to get the grade A, A5 Wagyu
100.
version of Justin Smith.
126.
Turned out to be a really good sirloin. Not that there's anything wrong with that.
58. Chris, you
He
require
may even be saving his
84.
best for last because he is going to come back for a third night. Double 12.
Double 6 for the break back. Doesn't
72.
go. Smith's back
Justin,
for a
you
3-1
require
lead.
68.
One dart at double 16. Does
52.
not
Chris, you
go.
require
And
12.
so Gilliland is back to square this contest up at 2-2 by finding 2 sixes.
Game shot on the fourth leg.
Judy
Chris
does.
Gilliland.
Level game. Back on throw.
Somebody's given you a name for your YouTube channel, by the way.
Oh, no.
Thank you,
Fifth
David.
leg. It's Christopher
Henry
at
Deacon's
first.
Dizzy Quiz.
Game
Very
on.
good. Invoices in the mail.
I have actually conducted quizzes and made quizzes before.
I'm shocked by that.
121.
That's like saying Kirk Bevins has been to see some trains.
100.
I'll tell you what, we'll do a Super Series quiz night. I'll make a quiz and we can all take part. Maybe stream on the YouTube channel.
I know for a fact that you've got some horrific jacket
140.
that sparkles in the moonlight. And you'll have some sort of crazy microphone to welcome us to said quiz.
99.
I can envisage you being just like Stephen Mulhern.
I'll take that. The other one I usually get called is Kenny Everett.
Well, in the worst possible taste.
100.
I'm surprised you can remember him.
I don't. It's from before I was born.
98.
That's a lovely last dart.
Chris, you
It
require
doesn't get into a finish, but
140.
it's that dart that he's so good at. Powering through. As Giddy goes for a biggie. Double 10.
130.
Not quite big enough.
But what he has done is turn the tide in this tie to some degree. Smith looked like he was plain sailing in this match.
140. Chris, you require
But
10.
now, Gilliland comes back for double 5 to see himself 3-2 in front.
That could be far enough away to leave him clear, but it was a distraction.
No score. Just
Big passage in play.
64.
Smith's got the break chance at the perfect time. If he can pin the 64, he's going to be 3-2 to the good, and he will throw for the match. Double 8. On
Game shot
the
on the fifth leg.
hill.
Justin Smith.
Smith's a leg away from winning the group.
And don't tell me he doesn't want it. Because we heard
Sixth leg. It's
through our
Justin to
sound
throw
equipment on the
first.
stage that
Game on.
he really liked that fifth leg. Remember, whoever loses this game is going to finish third. Now, correct me if I'm wrong,
140.
but won't these two be in the same group on Saturday?
They play the first match against each other. The way the group system works is game 1 will be the player top of Group A. That is Tom Sykes up against the second place player in Group
140.
C. Match 2 will then be between player B1 and player B3. The third match would then see the player in C2 put up against a player second in Group B. So that'd be
100.
Andy Hamilton. Match number 4 would then, and so on and so forth.
Henry Deacon, ladies and gentlemen, living inside a Super Series equation 24/7.
38.
That means that the first game on Saturday night will be Stevie Johnston against Tom Sykes.
Indeed.
Ha ha ha. Yes,
100.
please. That could be fun. I do believe there will be a small cheer squad for Stevie against a rather sizable cheer squad for the man from Yorkshire.
Justin, you require 161.
First chance to win the group. Slips by, but he's got time on his
95.
side.
66 points away from winning the group.
$94.
Good recovery with the last
Justin, you
start for
require
Gillam to leave
66.
himself on a finish, but it's all in the hands of Justin Smith. Double 18. Double 9. The
Game
bearded
shot
dragon
and the
has
match,
been unbeatable, and he
Smith.
is the main man in Group B. He gets the better of Chris Gilliland by 4 legs to 2. And it is the Welshman who is top of the lot. Chris Gilliland's going to finish third. Andy Hamilton in second position. And the only thing that is left to settle is to what's going to happen between players in P4 and P5. Revelino, Dubois and Jamie Kelling is after this. It's high time for our final game of the evening here at the Modus Super Series, and it's going to see the two players who, unfortunately, won't be joining us tomorrow night. Jamie Kelling and Revelino Dubois. They will be seeing their campaigns out in game number 20 of 20 in this Group B campaign. For Revelino Dubois, there's so much he can take and he can learn from this week. For Jamie Kelling, after a few good run-outs here in his last couple of appearances, he will feel a bit of disappointment about the way things have gone over the last couple of days. But for these two, it's just time to go and enjoy themselves for the last game of their week.
100.
This is what we like to call an Andrea Bocelli game. It's time to say goodbye. Well, sometimes it's nice to go out
43
on the right note. This is game number 23 of the week for Revelino.
100.
And game number 8 of Jamie. He does play an awful lot of darts when he comes here in the evening session. It is to do with availability,
100.
of course. Some people can commit to the full week, some people cannot.
100.
And I'm sure Revelino will stick around tomorrow to support Bradley Roos. Again, I've said it. It's not tomorrow. It's later tonight.
59.
I've only been here for 4 years.
3 years by your calculations.
41.
Somebody get the hook.
84. Revelino, you require 160.
Is anybody gonna get a 160 this week? Because I cannot believe how many times people have left 160 this week. I've never seen anything like it. Somebody's gonna get one before the end of the week.
59.
Got a lot of the other
Revelino,
ones.
you require 60.
164 twice. 170. 161. And a 167.
40.
So that
Jamie, you
means
require
the
156.
only 160 plus checker we haven't got is the 160.
Dubois, a little bit of a rush there with that last
60.
start.
Revelino, you
Not
require
too much
20.
damage done as a result of it.
Game shot on
In
the
fact,
first
he
leg.
pins it first time of
Revelino
asking
Dubois.
this time around, and Dubois leads 1-0. Dubois looking to get the W. Looking to get the
Second
doob
leg,
at the
it's
end of the
Jamie
night.
to throw first. Game on.
Here's me thinking you were going to crack on and say he needs to walk out to the Doobie Brothers.
82.
But if he does win this match, he has a chance of finishing 4th at the expense of Kelling, who started the night in 5th position.
55.
A win for Jamie will solidify 4th spot. Not that that's much in the way of consolation, because it's always about
60.
getting into the top 3, but their recompense in the group is based on league position. So there is something on this match.
100.
Yeah, payments are based on sporting merit and by positioning in your respective groups, which is the right way to do it. It means that every
60.
single game has something hinging upon it.
15.
Second time in this match that Jamie's left 299.
59.
It's not the kind of number that you would leave on purpose twice, but somewhat serendipitously, he's left it twice.
100.
Bit like something you'd get off of a discounted supermarket shelf. Oh, $2.99.
59.
Watch out for the counting here. Doesn't need to count, he's doing this.
108.
Bit more like it, Revelino.
Sounds like a Brazilian footballer name, doesn't it?
95.
Revelino.
Revelino, you require 51.
Probably played in that game. Oh, hello. Okay. What's going on here? I think Jamie's point is log jammed in the board.
Oh, not this. I hope for Jamie's sake that he's able to get through the match with 3 darts. I know how he feels. This happened to me when I played on the stage I had a point that came out, and I had to use an odd dart for the rest of the night.
Well, we've seen recently Callum Riggs have to complete a match with just 2 darts.
86.
Nearly won the leg as well against Dylan Slevin.
Well, let's hope and see that everything's okay here. Bullseye.
48.
I think he's going to take them out with a little bit of care now.
Require 32.
If you can't do some running repairs, well, who puts super glue in their case? Not many.
28.
That's the sort of. This is the sort of game where you want the likes of a Steve West or a Conan Whitehead next to you who have that to yield their flight and stem together.
You require 4.
Dubois, double 2 for 2-0. Up for double 1. Not fun.
Score. Jamie, you
said that Revelino
38.
sounded like a Brazilian footballer name. Well, this leg here is like an Argentinian footballer. It's incredibly messy.
19. Revelino, you require 4.
Somebody's chances are going to go to Poch.
Game shot on his second leg. Revelino,
Well, there you go.
Dubois.
It's 2-0 to Dubois, and he might be snagging 4th position after all.
And if that leg was like
Third
a Brazilian
leg, it's
footballer,
Revelino
it'd
to
be a
throw
bit more
first.
like Richarlison.
Game on.
Why is that?
Because of an
100.
inability to finish.
Ouch.
108.
You should have made a Manchester United joke at Jamie. He would have got you back. Well, he's got you back anyway because he started with a maximum.
81.
I don't think there was any doubt about goal of the season, was there?
100.
Oh, it was the overhead kick.
By
Garnacho.
Garnacho, yeah, against Everton.
At least we can agree on that one.
Yeah, I remember listening to that
85.
on 5 Live, driving back down from Kent. Superbly described by John Murray, who is an absolute
60.
legend in terms of radio broadcasting.
Oh, you know, you were driving back to Portsmouth when you're driving down from Kent. Oh, that was a bit
81.
jerky at the end, wasn't it? Bit of
Jamie,
Jockey
you
Wilson in
require
that one.
161.
It looks like Jamie hasn't had any more problems with that point.
90.
do get
Revelino,
the
you
feeling that
require
if-
154.
That point is a little bit loose. He's going to have to jam it in there and give it a little bit of adhesion.
47. Jamie, you require 71.
54 left. And now tops.
Game shot on the third leg.
Right in the middle.
Jamie Kelling.
Right down the middle. If that was a penalty, that was like Beckham's against Argentina in 2002.
Fourth leg. It's Jamie to throw first. Game
Can
on.
we not talk about penalties right before a major tournament begins?
I'll talk about them as long as I want to. I was reminded of that because a lot of people tend to
45.
forget, you know, when Michael Owen was fouled. I can barely bring up Michael Owen without feeling sick. But it was actually
100.
Mauricio Pochettino that fouled Michael Owen for the penalty, wasn't it?
Michael Owen, the last English player to won the Ballon d'Or. 2001.
100.
That was the year that Liverpool won that cup treble, wasn't it? The UEFA Cup, the League Cup, the FA Cup. And Michael Owen actually scored the winner of the
64.
first ever FA Cup final to be played at the Millennium Stadium.
Strap in, everybody. It's another game with Henry's factoids about football.
108.
In matter of fact,
And he's still going.
in matter of fact, Liverpool won the first and the last FA Cup final to be played at the Millennium Stadium because they
47.
beat Arsenal in 2001. And then they famously beat West Ham United on penalties in the 2006 one. That's the famous Gerrard Screamer
100.
final. 3-3 draw, one on pens.
I honestly wish we had commentator camera for the times he does this. He's about as animated as
123.
the three tenors when they're doing
Jamie requires 76.
one of their concerts. Yeah, da 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 da. That doesn't matter. Double top for Jamie Kelling.
56.
I thought that was in.
Revelino, you require 167.
Good job, Jack could see, and we couldn't.
Well, the 167 is going to go for Dubois, so Kelling comes back for double 10 to
100.
square this
Jamie, you
contest up
require
at 2
20.
apiece. Levels your
Game shot on the
Devils,
fourth
2-2.
flag,
Best of 3
Jamie
for these
Kelling.
two. to see who is going to end their week with a win.
Fifth flag. It's Revelino to throw first. Game on.
Am I right in saying Liverpool have won the last 2 FA Cup
100.
finals to go to penalty kicks?
I don't know, Henry. One of these days,
140.
I'm going to bend your mind so much about golf majors from the last 50 years that I'm going to tie you in knots.
100.
2022, I think they beat Chelsea, didn't they, on penalties in the cup final?
Still going.
61.
I'll tell you what I would like to see. You up against Mark Webster on football. Now
81.
there would be a fair fight. He is outstanding at this stuff, and that would be one heck of a battle.
I'm sure we can make that happen.
140.
160 to get a 3-2 lead. And if you think it doesn't mean anything to Kelling to get off the bottom, think again.
60.
When you leave
Jamie
this
require
building,
160.
and you may not be back in this series because, let's face it, he's played a 2-day group this week.
100. Revelino, you require
There
160.
was an outside chance that he could possibly get a full week later on, but it's not guaranteed. But if he doesn't come back in this
60.
series,
Jamie
we will not see
requires 60.
Jamie Kelling for the best part of 3 to 4 months. He wants to go out on a win, and he might
Game
just
start
do
of
that
fifth flag,
because that's
Jamie
a 14 dart
Kelling.
break of throat. This might be the last leg of the group before we have finals tonight.
Sixth flag. It's Jamie to throw first. Game on.
Kelling has Dubois cornered.
46.
Well, Dubois won this game 4-2 yesterday. Kelling hoping to win it 4-2 today, but unfortunately it won't be a
60.
trilogy in terms of this particular battle.
Look at the tons. 12 of them for Revelino. But the spread,
140.
just a little bit better for Kelling. He was inching closer to the finishing line. And that was something he did not get close to
81.
yesterday after that abysmal doubling display in the first leg of this encounter come 10:05 on Thursday night.
134.
It's easy to diagnose the problems of Kelling the last couple of days for that first leg, but I don't think it had anything to do with it. I think it's just been
60.
a serial amount of near misses, and people have punished him for them.
For Revelino, it looks like his week's going to come to an end here. As I mentioned earlier, I think there's so much that he
105.
can take as a positive, but it looks like it's going to be Kelling that will take the spoils in this
40. Jamie requires 76.
particular fixture. 76 of the match. 2 in hand at double 8. Double 4. To finish with a
shot
win.
and the match,
And JK
Jamie
will
Kelling.
end with 2 points to his name. He's actually going to end on 6 points. The results came in the end, but he needed to get off to a fast start tonight. A lot of love from Revelino, and we've loved having him here over the last 5 days. For Jamie Kelling, well, it's a campaign that in the end has ended in disappointment. It's ended in disappointment for the pair, the only 2 players not to make it through to tomorrow night's final from this Group B. That's how the final game of the group ended. Well, we know the 3 players that are going to be through from Group B. It is going to be Justin Smith, Andy Hamilton and Chris Gillam will be assessing their chances and the night as a whole after this. Welcome back to the Modus Super Series, where the Group B action has come to an end. Myself and Paul Nichols have been watching every single dart in the commentary box. This is what we've seen on this Friday night at the Live Lounge. It was all over quite early. By the end of Game 5, we knew the 3 players that are going to make it through to the finals tomorrow night. And so it was all about rubber stamping those positions in the final half's worth of action. In the end, it was Justin Smith that went on to win the group, the Bearded Dragon taking the spoils in Group B. What will be your overall assessment of the way that Justin went about his business?
Quite difficult to categorise, I think. Because when you look at the way he started the campaign yesterday, it looked very promising. And he stumbled towards the end. And then he stumbled at the beginning tonight and finished by winning his last 3 matches. I think when we go into Saturday night and try to figure out where he's at, I'm not sure, even with 8 games in the memory bank, we've got a great deal of information to try and pigeonhole him into any sort of form. It's rather good or rather mundane, and it's very much about how he reacts to certain situations as to how likely it is he's going to win on Saturday night. But it's promising, I'll put it that way.
Do you think he knows roughly where he is right now?
I don't think he's got a clue, but maybe that's a good thing. I'm trying to look at things in the positive sense. I think in previous times when Justin has come here in a Champions Week and in some of his qualifying weeks, whether he's been successful or not, sometimes he's been beating himself up there. He's had discomfort with his barrels. He's had discomfort with his mentality. This week he looks really relaxed. And it suits him a lot.
Well, Justin Smith took the spoils. Andy Hamilton finished second in that group. Got off to a slow start on Thursday, but ever since Game 2 last night, he's been a different animal, hasn't he?
He's played some really good, steady stuff. I don't think we've seen the best of Andy this week, but there have been glimpses of really good stuff. What I really like about what he's done in a 6-game winning streak was that his doubles were excellent. He's not going to outscore someone like a Sykes or possibly a Justin Smith when they're finding that first dart in the treble 20. He might not be able to stick with them in that department. But if they slip up, he's the kind of person who can make them pay on the outer ring.
Well, the other player who made it through in the end was Chris Gillam, the Northern Irishman, who's just been so steady throughout the course of the week.
Yeah, the marathon man of the week. He's played 23 games now. He's looked assured ever since Monday morning. And if you can count against Chris Gilliland come Saturday night, think twice. Because he's the kind of person who may not harbour the headlines going into Saturday night, because we'll talk a lot about Sykes, we'll talk a lot about Hamilton, Roos, and possibly Stevie Johnston. But Gilliland's the kind of person who can win here on Saturday night.
In terms of Jamie Kelling, he'll be disappointed. He saved some good games for late on, but unfortunately it was a case of it being too late.
Yeah, he left it too late. And I think the way he was approaching the final 3 matches, he could sense that he'd just left himself with too much to do. It's just another step on his career experience. And we wish him well before we see him again. But it'll be an interesting summer for Jamie.
And just finally, a word for Revelino Dubois.
Great experience. He's been great to watch. And I think the story is only just beginning. I'm really keen to see the next chapter.
Well, we now know the 6 players that are going to be in tomorrow night's final here at the Super Series. Tom Sykes was the winner of Group A on Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday, respectively. Bradley Roos and Stephen Johnston made it through Group C earlier on this afternoon, whilst Justin Smith, Andy Hamilton and Chris Gilliland complete the field. And this is how the 2 groups break down, and this is how the players will be broken into going into tomorrow night's final. Group 1, Tom Sykes, Andy Hamilton, Stephen Johnston. Group 2, we'll see Justin Smith, Bradley Roos and Chris Gilliland go toe-to-toe. It feels like Group 1 really does jump off the page.
I don't like to disagree with you, because I think Tom Sykes wins Group 1. And I think there'll be a dogfight between Andy Hamilton and Johnston. And that's the kind of dogfight I want to see here. But if you look at Group 2, I think what you've got there are 3 people almost in the same sort of ballpark form-wise. I'm going on the Bradley Roos from the last couple of days. I'm going on Gilliland from the week. But as far as Justin Smith's concerned, you throw him in that pot, it could be any 2 of the 3. But I do expect Tom Sykes to get through his group as the winner and the other 2 to be scrapping for second spot.
Tom's going to go off the favourite tomorrow evening, but who should be the player to look out for in the field?
Anybody from the other group, they could do it. We have seen surprises in the past, and don't forget when Tom Sykes was in his last final on a Saturday night, he was very favoured then, but it was Jimmy Van Schie that stopped him. We've got people who have done it before. We've only got Stevie Johnson, who has not been on a Saturday night before, but don't expect him to be quiet.
Absolutely not. Well, been great company as ever, Paul. Thank you so much for that. Thank you as well for your company this evening. We'll see you tomorrow night, 7:30 on the Super Series YouTube channel to see who is going to take the Week 1 spoils in this brand new series here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. But as far as tonight is concerned, it's the Bearded Dragon that is top of the table. It's goodbye from me and the plate. Bye.